Hello, everybody. Sorry, we were all getting our glasses ready so that Bentham didn't feel weird about it.
We were talking about glasses and everyone went and put theirs on.
Welcome to Valtorn episode 11. It's crazy. I can't believe it's already that far along in the show. But before we get into it, we do have some things to talk about. First and foremost, we would like to thank our sponsor today. Thank you, Roll20, for sponsoring us. If you're ever curious how we do our character sheets, our rolling, and honestly, the character sheets are so helpful. The conditions, how it like auto applies it. I don't have to think about
super
stuff.
Helpful.
I appreciate that. Now, if you could do that with curses, that would be lovely.
Can they do it in real life so I can just mark tired and then it just lets people know that I'm gonna roll?
Just like have a little condition marker on your head.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I would give for a heads-up display telling me how I feel, it'd be great.
Wait,
Be
telling
careful.
you how you feel?
Oh yeah,
Careful, there's some weird AI stuff going on. I don't know.
Yeah. Didn't they like try to do something like that with Google Glass?
Yeah,
Or,
they
like,
did.
Google Glasses, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't know if
Okay.
you guys have watched the movie Upload or the TV series Upload. It's very
I
creepy.
I recognize that name for
Yeah.
some reason.
I see that all over TikTok and I want to watch it.
Yeah, I would
It's a good
recommend.
show.
If you have Amazon Prime, also if you have Amazon Prime, you can use your Prime to subscribe to us for free. That was a good segue. Also, we do have some merch. You can head to designbyhumans.com/shop/roll for it and get yourself some swag. You want it. And then, of course, thank you to our supporter, Thunder Cabbage. Thunder Cabbage. I don't know why I like doing that, but I do. Thank you, Thunder. We appreciate your support. You've been a fantastic supporter of the amazing roleplay that we do here. If you would like to become a supporter like Thunder Cabbage, you can head on over to our Patreon where we have all kinds of goodies. And of course, if you are a legend tier or above, you get to support an episode and play in a private GM'd game. Currently, Kai Bear is GMing most of them because they're affecting our game, which, I'm a little scared about what's happening just from what has been said so far. I'm a little horrified.
I realized I made the mistake of putting too much power into the hands of people who would love to see me do extra work. And it's next time it's going to affect it in smaller ways, but it'll still affect it.
Look, you give them a chance, they will mess stuff up, as we know from all of the Santa RPG campaigns.
Look at you, Jackson. I'm looking at you, Jackson. You know what you did.
Do Jackson. And of course, I know I'm scared. And of course, we have all kinds of other stuff up there. We do have a new GM poll that is live right meow. Head on over and pick what enemy or enemies we will encounter next, which, also just kind of scares me a little bit. But that will end Wednesday at 6 p.m. UK time. So if you are trying to get in on that vote, head on over to our poll, vote. And then, of course, we will have our character sheets coming next week. Bentham is going to do it. We're forcing him. We've locked him into that date. He's doing it now. I was like, Bentham, where are the character sheets? He's like, oh, crap.
That's why he's wearing his glasses. He's professional right now.
It was a really busy week.
Yeah, he was at an event, so hopefully you saw some maybe Roll Fort fans over there. I know that our head mod was there too. We saw a bunch of other old castmates from other shows that we've done. So lots of good people out there. And if you want to support us, you can support us over here on Twitch by becoming a sub, and that gets you access to the VODs early as well as our emotes. And if you become a YouTube member, you get access to some of those emotes as well. And whether you're a YouTube member, Twitch subscriber, or a Patreon supporter, you can get access to our private Discord where there's lots of conversations and chatter about all kinds of goodies. And sometimes you can ask us questions. We do tend to answer them unless there's stuff that is secrets. Then Kai might just troll you.
What? No. Me?
And of course, there's lots of non-monetary ways to support us. You can head on over to our Twitch and watch us live. And if you're watching us live, you can make clips. We really appreciate all the clips that y'all have been making. You can only make them while we're live, which is weird, but that's the situation that we're in. You can watch us over on YouTube, subscribe, like, and comment if you're there already. Hi. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook, like, share, retweet, and comment. We have a tweet right now and a Facebook post right now, and probably as you're watching this or something, we do post often. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to our GM, who's not wearing glasses.
Okay. I surgically altered my eyes to make it so I don't have to wear glasses. No. I have laser glasses inside my eyes, and we're just gonna let that go. And we're just going to.
He's wearing invisible
The
glasses.
camera comes down from the sky.
He's a rebel without a cause.
Going to the front of the hotel that you were staying at with the allowance of Giovanni. All expenses paid, all food paid, room service paid. And outside the front doors, we stand at a bit of, a standstill. As Ace, one of the higher calibers of agents that belong to Giovanni, the mafia family that runs Chicago, with a question of, where is Cien Chung? Being directed towards Chuck. And a bit of a breath being caught in your lungs moment. What do you do?
Listen, Chuck.
You are
Chuck.
Chuck.
I know you.
Listen,
What?
Chuck.
Oh,
You talking to yourself?
Gotta hype yourself up for this conversation, man. I feel it.
I'm hyping myself
Listen,
up.
Chuck, this is your moment.
What's this guy's name again? I just forgot
Ace.
in the moment. Ace. Listen, Ace. I get that you mean well, and I get that you're looking for answers. But the only person I need to talk to is your boss, Gio.
Well, Giovanni sent me here. You can assume anything you say to me is talking to him.
Yeah. I know how the mob works. And I'm not talking to you.
So let me get this straight. You want me to go back to Giovanni's house, get him out of bed, have him come all the way down here, take him up to your room, sit him down in the comfiest chair you have, and have him speak to you directly?
As much as I'd like to not make you do that, because, you know, you'd look bad in front of your daddy.
I
I
ain't
think
call
it's
no
kind-
man daddy, son.
I think it's kind of important. And this is above your pay grade.
That hurts. Okay. If that's the game we're gonna play, roll me a diplomacy. Since this is more of a convincing, or would you rather do diplomacy or intimidation?
Yeah.
I'm doing diplomacy, but there's a hint of intimidation in it.
Okay.
22. I do have my this if I need to.
Okay.
Oh, I guess it only works when it's a crit fail. So, unless that's a crit fail.
Let's look towards their perception.
Yeah, I rolled a
With
10.
a little insight. Ten on the die. Okay, so that would make this. Sorry, character sheets are confusing sometimes. Okay, roll the 7. Okay. He looks, he goes, if that's what it needs to be. Hey, this is your decision, not mine. He starts taking a step back. Hands up.
I ain't got a gun on you.
Yeah, because that's what you all need. Because you all need guns, right? He takes another step back. Okay. He eyes up. He sees Azuka's magic chains. He sees Mintala's large friend and magic of just existing. Like, he kind of knows that, like, y'all don't need guns to be effective. So he kind of walks back.
Guns.
Yeah. Magic guns. His shoulder hits the side and he kind of like curls around it and disappears. You guys are left alone at the base of the hotel.
I think Kyoko just continues to walk to their room. You just hear her heels clacking.
As you enter inside, you have the same 4 attendants on the right who are just kind of waiting. You have 2 people who are behind the counter at the front as well. Oh, Miss Kyoko, it is wonderful to have you back.
Do we have to go to the front to like get to our room?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's open. It opens up into a lobby that has the front desk there.
But do
there
we have
are
to go
like
to the lobby to get to our.
There's elevators on the side that go up. It's kind of like front door lobby, elevators on the side with the.
I think
desk
she
in the
just nods to them and then goes to the elevator, I guess.
Okay. I can assume the rest are following.
Yep.
Okay,
We'll
you're
be
all
at the back, just making sure that we don't have Ace coming up behind us or something.
make a perception check.
Ooh, nice. Watching natty ones. Oh no, 23.
23. That's a 12 on the die.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm gonna do a little secret roll. All right.
We've
Okay.
already been to our room for the viewers, so that's why I was like, I don't think we need to go to the front desk right now. I would like to avoid talking to anybody.
When you guys first arrived at Chicago, Giovanni invited you, all expenses paid, to this hotel. You showed up, dropped off your stuff, and then went to one of Chuck's safe houses as a precaution.
Yeah,
We snuck out, though.
we snuck out.
Snuck out.
Yeah.
So there's a look of surprise on some of the attendants. Because like, weren't you? Okay. Sure. Here we are now. Guys in the elevator, ding. Doom, doom, doom. As you guys are going to the top floor.
Elevator's like 50% red.
Yeah. At some point you think, maybe I should have had Red take the stairs. This is... You hear a little bit of a groaning from the cable above the elevators. As you get to the top, the doors kind of struggle to open, and you notice there is a solid, like, 1-inch gap that you have to step up over because it wasn't able to get it fully to the top. As you walk into the suite. And the suite, if I recall describing this correctly, large center community room with multiple rooms off to the side, full stocked kitchen, bar, wonderful view of the city skyline. You are in the tallest tower that is facing this direction, so you can see off into the sea and straight off north towards where you can actually off into the distance. Mentala, if you can make a perception check for me, that would be wonderful.
And I think Kyoko will hold the door open for everybody, but whilst she's holding the door open, she's kind of like focusing on its resonance to see if anybody has messed with their room is kind of what she's trying to read.
So your psychic resonance is based off a touch. So you have to be trying to touch specific things. So either you can give me a specific object, or we can do a perception roll.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm holding the door open for everybody. But while I'm doing that, I'm trying to.
In my mind, it was like, I'm going to go through and touch everything. Okay.
No. So while I'm
roll
holding
me...
it open for everybody else, I'm also doing this at the same time as...
Cool. Roll me the check for that. And then with a 20, Mentala, you would actually see off in the far distance, where once there was the Chicago Botanical Garden, has erupted into this large tree with spiraling knotted roots that seem to almost weave themselves in and out of each other, with these like not neon green, but like a lime green root or vine that seems to like wrap around in a spiral structure up there. And you have this sense of just like your eyes blinking, and there's like this feeling of longing and fun and mischief, and then it fades.
Huh.
With the resonance.
Presumably this isn't a new development, it's just I'm noticing it for the first time.
Yeah, because you're real high up in a tall tower.
Yep. Just making sure that it hadn't erupted like 5 minutes ago. No, it's always been there. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be cool if it erupted 5 minutes ago. That's another story.
It'll be a hell of a twist on what's currently going on tonight.
So, Kyoko, when you were holding on to the door, you get this feeling of longing, a little bit of regret, a hope, and you have this quick vision of Giovanni there, grabbing the door, holding it for a second, closing his eyes and walking away.
Interesting. Does it look like the door's open in that vision, or is it closed?
It's still closed.
Interesting.
So it's almost as if he walked up to it, was going to come in, took a beat, and then turned around.
Right. Kyoko will close the door behind everybody once they're in.
Okay. Then you guys have the night. You have a full stocked kitchen and all the amenities thereof, this fancy penthouse. Anything you want to do before you go to bed?
Chuck's just getting in a chair and facing the door.
What's your plan? Watch the door the whole night?
My plan is to be here when Gio gets here if Ace is really waking him up.
Do you think he will?
I think he'll do what works for him and what he thinks is best, just like any member would. You don't want the boss getting upset with you. Although, it'd be kind of nice to see him upset with him.
What is your plan with Gio?
Right now, just to tell him that the man in shadow is here and decided to strike and come out.
I didn't mean about this situation. I meant the two of you.
Full honesty, I haven't even figured that out myself. It's not exactly an easy trigger for me to pull.
I think she just, as you're sitting in this chair facing the door, I think she just puts her hand on your shoulder, as like kind of as she's like walking past, if you allow, and she just says, "Well, while you're sitting here, you might as well think about that as well." And she just smiles and, oh, go ahead.
When you put your hand on Chuck's shoulder, you get 2, 3, 4 different visions. One of them, Chuck, full shadow face, but with one eye on fire, just unloading into Giovanni as he's on the ground. You see another one of you all on the train together, him smiling and laughing. You see a couple of other variations of the future that could be held in Chuck's decision of what to do, how to move forward.
Yeah, and she just tells you what she said, which is maybe while you're sitting here, take some time to think about that. Even the smallest of decisions can have its own effect.
He just kind of nods in silence.
And she will continue walking over to the bathroom, probably, where she's going to transform back into her normal fox form and probably curl up on the couch or near wherever Azuka is going to sleep or chill.
I assume there are like bedrooms.
Yes.
I would assume
here,
so,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I think he could have gone almost immediately into a bedroom and try to catch some sleep.
All right. You do have a fully stocked kitchen. If you would like to make some, if Azuka would see all of that and be tempted.
Yeah, I don't know if he's in the mood. Because I think for him, it's kind of like he cooks.
We filled up on those
bakes.
snacks.
Yeah, we filled up on those snacks, and it's kind of like a recreational thing. And I don't think he's in the headspace for recreation right now.
I forgot you guys made a Chuck Cootery board out of the random stuff that he had. Okay.
Yeah, with like it wasn't a great one, but it
Yeah.
was something.
It was not.
I think
MRE
that
cheese is not something that is like a sought after thing.
Kyoko's like not feeling great because of the curse, so she definitely needs rest. But she would give up that rest if something happens to Zuka. So she's kind of like a little light sleeping than normal after what happened last time.
Okay. Give me a fortitude save. I want to see what this night is like for you.
Ooh, okay. 28.
Even though it is a light sleep, you have a full restful sleep. We'll say you're still aware while trying to do that. Chuck,
You're
I
like,
believe you
You're
are.
enfeebled too now. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
Hey, and that one is always a potential. Chuck, are you staying up the entire night? Or are you kind of waiting there and going into a light sleep to try to, like, if the door latches or knocks or something like that?
It would be a light sleep and just be ready. I'm sure he wouldn't like try and stay awake fully. He just needs to be in a position so that once somebody comes in, he's ready to talk to him. So if Geo shows up, he doesn't want Geo to have to wake him up.
Yeah.
You know, because that'd kind of be insulting.
Totally get it. All right. Mentala?
Mental is going to be going to sleep because, presuming we make it through the night without Geo trying to kill us all or something, wants to be well rested, having expended some of his magic
Are
today.
you going to sleep on a bed? Like you're in like a giant bed, but you're just like this little tiny.
He probably finds like a cushion again and sleeps on that.
Okay.
All of these very nice, wonderful rooms, and the majority of the party is in the common space
The
on the
common
couch.
space, yeah.
Yeah. We'll say that there
and two
is
people are like
a
sharing a room.
yeah.
It'll probably be a cushion in a kitchen cupboard.
I love
It's
it.
smaller in there. It's like,
Yep.
you know, it's weird being in such a huge open space asleep.
It's
You
dark
make
Feel
your
here. You don't
own-
have like
you're
lights.
confining yourself.
Yeah, it reminds
You
him
have a-
of the dollhouse.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have a
Aw.
makeshift dollhouse.
That's cute.
Perfect.
Keep in mind, I only have 19 of my 58 hit points right now, so.
Yeah, y'all took a beating.
I think that before we go to bed, if we could, and if Drac is interested, it might be nice if Azuka and Kyoko had like a conversation.
Absolutely.
I don't know if anyone else wants to have any other conversations before sleeps.
Good for now.
We'll see what happens.
I'm absolutely down.
Uh-oh.
Um,
I think Drac might be
think-
having some conversations with somebody else.
yeah, I
think-
think you'd see
go ahead.
Azuka kind of like sat, kind of like cross-legged in bed, just for a bit as you walk in, because he would have gone like immediately while you're talking to Chuck. He would have gone immediately to the bedroom.
Okay. And you see Kyoko kind of like push the door open with her little paw and then like close it with one of her tails. And she sees you over there and she like just jumps up on the bed and kind of like rubs her like head with one of her little ears on like your knee maybe. And then kind of like just sits there and like crosses her hands like on her underneath her chin and looks up at you.
He looks down at you and gives a very clear fake smile, but like a polite hey there smile. But it's clear he's still very guilty about what happened and isn't sure how to navigate that.
I think she just kind of opens her mouth because like it's like, are you okay with her talking type of? I think it's like her signal to you.
Yeah, he nods.
Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's not very reassuring.
Yeah. All of you, no offense, I guess, but all of you look messed up, and that was my fault.
Well, we made the decision on our own to follow you. So it's just as much our fault as it is what happened.
You can say it's my fault. I know it was.
Guilt isn't going to help.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate anything, really, right now. I thought I understood people, having to interact with them pretty frequently back at home, but I'm learning there's a whole new dimension to them that I could never have anticipated, and now I'm just trying to relearn everything. Everyone.
In what
Worst
way?
case scenario, I run into someone who doesn't tip me well. Now I'll run into someone who wants me to consume a demon or devil, sorry, who's been in me for the past 20-something years. You know, it's the magnitude has changed, and even the people who aren't trying to kill me in my life, the magnitude of how involved and how much my decisions affect them have changed. And it's been, what? I don't even know how long. Time has been difficult to really gauge outside of home, outside of LA.
Well, what do you want to do?
Does it matter?
Of course it does. And just to be clear, I would have made the same decision. She gives you a wink. My mic is being crazy, I'm sorry.
Good. He gives a soft smile. I think it's a bit more real than the initial one. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. What I want, I can't do right now.
Well, what is it that you want?
I want to hug my mums.
That's fair.
I want to actually get demolished at a board game.
Well, we
because
can
they-
arrange that.
with my mums, though I'm happy to play with all of you as well. I'm going to learn new recipes and taste the ones that they're trying to experiment with. I want to laze around on a sofa and not have to worry about being hunted down at any given moment or having the rather daunting task of collecting a artifact of some kind that could help or save millions. That's what I want, but kind of like gestures to the room, and kind of you can tell that the gesture is more of like the situation. I can't do that right now.
Well, you can.
If there was a way to hug my mums right now, I would be doing it.
You made the choice to join this journey. If you wanted, you could have stayed there. But you know deep down, I think, inside, that had you done that, you might have put them in harm.
Yeah. No, I knew that, and I'd rather go without holding them for however long this journey may be than put them in danger again.
Well, let's make it a short journey then.
I would love that, but it seems like everything is making sure it isn't one.
Well, the more escapades we go on in the middle of the night. Her little fox teeth kind of show. The more likely it's going to take longer.
He nods. Again, a bit of a smile, very faint. Yeah, yeah, I'm not going to be doing that again anytime soon. I just hoped that maybe they knew something about what was going on. And apparently they did, but had ulterior motives.
Oh, everyone always does. They have their own objective in life, things that they want.
Yeah, I just miss the days of bad tips being the worst case scenario.
I understand that all too well.
Are you okay? You got run over by a car?
The car isn't so bad, but I might have expended myself a little too much. She kind of wraps her tail a little closer, and you can see like the ends where it's like this dark black are kind of like seeping further. Like her ears are a little like closer to her head where it's darker, where it used to be orange is like more almost blackish purple.
Sorry, is that a thing that always happens? Often happens? How can we avoid that?
I haven't found a way to avoid it necessarily, unless I, well, don't use the abilities I have. There are upsides to it, and definitely downsides. I'm more weak than normal, but in some ways, I'm more powerful.
Sounds like a sort of give and take.
I think fate finds its way to balance.
Again, I'm sorry I put you in a situation where you needed to push yourself so hard, and I'll be honest, I probably should give a more heartfelt, personalized apology to Mentala and Chuck.
I'm sure they might appreciate that. This is a job for them, I suppose, but for me, I came here on my own. I made the decision to follow you. I made the decision to get on my paws and chase you down in the middle of the night. I don't blame you. Like I said, I'd probably do the same.
Yeah, but you might have the foresight, no pun intended, to come prepared.
Well, I'd like to think that, but as we know, when it comes to my own fate, I rarely get visions of what is to come. So, I suppose that foresight has to be something from within.
Yeah.
Just don't worry so much. Everybody makes mistakes. Don't hold guilt over your own head. Things like that will consume you. Just think about the things you want. You just listed a whole bunch of stuff. You can have it all.
Yeah. If things go well tonight, maybe we'll have it sooner rather than later. And if you would like, I would have to ask my parents first, but would you also like to be destroyed in a board game? Because they probably would beat you too, even with your foresight.
Well, they can certainly try. I would be delighted.
definitely invite Chuck. I think Chi will be very excited to have Chuck play with them.
I would enjoy seeing that man play a board game.
I
He has
feel
the
like he
patience of, well, a toddler.
You think? He gives me kind of a board game collector kind of vibe.
I don't know about that, but certainly like to see it.
I just know Mentala would find some way to cheat, but I'd like to see that happen as well.
Very entertaining, I suppose.
I'm gonna get some sleep. And of course, he kind of like gestures to the end of his bed. If you want to, you're more than welcome. I'm not really in the mood to make anything today, but I'll be wake up nice and early to make some breakfast for it from tomorrow.
She just kind of, you know how like cats when they like rub up against your leg type of thing. She does the same and turns back around at the end of the bed and finds herself a little curling spot and curls up in a little ball.
Yeah, he pulls the covers over himself and kind of curls up as well and tries to sleep. I think thinking about like hard, trying to think about memories of playing. I don't know if Monopoly existed at this time. I'm going to say Monopoly with his parents, and hoping that will come as a dream or some kind of solace while he sleeps.
Tyler's nodding like he looked it up.
So with that, Azuka lays down in a king-sized bed with a fox at their feet, head resting into a pillow as you feel the comfort of the bed around you, and your eyes get heavy. The back of your head sinking further and further into the pillow as your mind drifts off. And right at that precipice of sleep, when you feel yourself about to fall into a dream, you do, and you have a great night's sleep. We cut to the living room.
I feel like we have to do like a one shot where we all play Monopoly, but like in character.
I would love to see that.
Oh, I would love that. Yes.
I could be the Monopoly man and read off the community cards and do all that.
It'd be so funny.
There is a Monopoly game on Steam, so.
There is.
We can play
That is
through
true, yeah.
Tabletop Simulator too, probably.
Ooh, that'd be
Yeah.
fun. It was a long night for you guys. The sun had already set when the walk had started with Xiancheng and Azuka. You feel drained, hurt, and you get a full night's rest. Chuck, you end up falling asleep at the chair. And then you hear this twist of a knob and a key jingling outside. And you are, Chuck specifically, is shocked awake at the thought of somebody right outside. You look as the sun is just coming up over the horizon. You had maybe 4 hours of sleep. As the door opens up and Ace walks in, says nothing, steps to the side, still in the same attire as last night. Collar a little bit more undone. You see a bit more of the tattoos poking out from the chest and the one coming up right to his jawline. You see signs of he has not slept yet. As Giovanni steps in immediately. Hey, Chucky, you've been waiting for me. That's good. He takes off his jacket, tosses onto a rack nearby, starts rolling up his sleeves. Hey, someone will make those pancakes just like you like? As he starts walking over to the kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what you would like to do, sir.
Yeah, of course. You know, it was a long night. You know, I think I got some coffee in here somewhere. Hey, Ace, you want a coffee? I said, yeah, that'd be nice. Hey, Chucky, how about you want some coffee? Yeah.
Is Gio asking me or is Ace asking me? Because I couldn't
Gio.
tell. Oh.
Yeah.
I'll take some, and I'm sure the rest of the group in here could.
All right, we're making enough for everybody. Let's get a big pot going. As he starts going into the the fridge, he grabs like a dozen eggs, brings it out. There's like 2 pounds of bacon that he brings out, and he's just getting this full-on meal set. Actually, I've been learning some stuff. You want a crap?
I don't need to go to the bathroom right now.
No, it's something this Frenchman taught me the other day. It's a very thin pancake.
I mean, to your heart's desire, Gio.
I want to give it a shot here. So he actually goes in the bottom, pulls out like a full-on, like heater that he plugs into the side, and it's like this really. He has a crepes making stand. This dude has this here. He's like, yeah. So how do you like the place? I mean, designed it myself. It's my little home away from home.
Chuck's gonna, as he gets up and walks to the kitchen in the process, kind of kicks Azuka's foot, or kicks his door if he's in a bedroom. Just like
we're in a
pretty
bedroom.
solidly loud knock.
Mintella is in the cupboard, which you would just start hearing Mintella, Gio outside saying all these things to Chuck and cooking. So you are hidden inside of this cupboard for now.
Yeah, I start hearing this and like I wake up and I'm like, I'm gonna stay in this cupboard and see where this goes. I imagine Red is just a pile of rubble somewhere in the common area.
Yeah. He's getting a little bit more clever with how he deconstructs himself. And so, those, if you go on trails and you see like stacked rocks, he has like turned himself into a small like pyramid of rocks with like a couple balanced on top. And he is like the top head just kind of balancing a little bit like he's sleeping.
Yeah, I
Beautiful.
probably jolt awake at the kick at my door. And I'll walk over and like first listen through the door to see if I can gauge or hear like at the very least the tone of the conversation being had.
Of course, make me a perception check. That will kind of qualify the quality of sound that you hear.
20. So
20, if they start to whisper, you can't hear it, but any outwardly spoken, definitely. So I hear you had a late night last night. You came in here a bit, what was it, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, something like that.
I
Ace
honestly
pipes up
wanted
in the
looking
corner.
at the time, so whatever Ace told you is probably accurate.
Yeah, so what were you doing last night? Where were you out and about? As he pours some mix, as he starts like whisking.
There are some sites that we wanted to see and CN wanted to show, and we went along with them.
Okay, do you remember around what time? I was told this is information you could only tell me.
What time? He'll say whatever time they kind of snuck out of the hotel.
I
Okay.
think it was like midnight.
Yeah, it was.
Or a bit
Well,
earlier
that
than
was sneaking out of the other house. When we snuck out of the
Oh,
hotel, it
yeah.
was probably
Yeah.
like later evening.
I'd say around 10 o'clock is when you left the hotel for the house. Around midnight when you left the house. Probably 12:30 by the time the fight had started. 1 o'clock by the time you guys had got back. Maybe 2 by the time. Actually, no, you spent a couple hours working on the car. So I'd say it was around 2:33 by the time you guys actually got back.
Yeah.
And it's
sometimes
about
it's nice to see the
7:30, 8
nightlife.
o'clock right now.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to see what goes on at night in Chicago. It's been years since I've been here. Obviously, since you've taken over the place, it's changed. So,
Yeah, it has. It's got quite the nightlife. You should see the main drag when the sun goes down. All the lights come on. Some people start performing in the streets. It's a good time.
GOCN's dead. Or I presume.
Now, how would you know a thing like that?
Well, we were.
As it kind of stops whisking, and Ace kind of stands up taller.
We were ambushed, sir.
You were ambushed.
You remember the man in shadow?
Ace, why don't you continue doing this for me? Because Ace goes, I don't know how to make crepes, sir. He goes, you'll try. Walks over to the center, hands the bowl off to Ace, who goes over and like takes an apron out from the side, ties it along, and starts doing the cooking. Sits down in a chair across from you. So, You were ambushed. And Xian Chung is dead, my second in command.
I assume dead. If you're still
You
looking
assume.
for them based
First it
on
was dead, now
what
it's
you said.
assumed dead.
Listen, sir, it's been a long night. I'm sorry. I'm assuming they're dead because it was the man in shadow that somehow came to Chicago. Who knows how long they've been here? You know they plan things before they attack. They're smart about what they do.
Make me a deception check.
It's a partial truth.
Live omission is still alive.
Fuck!
Um,
I don't have a hero point. What do I have? How can I help?
Do you have a feat or anything?
I don't think I do. My feats are diplomacy.
You wanted it big. You wanted to be the one talking to Geo.
That's fair.
but
By the way, that's a
technically,
2 on
hero
the
points
dice.
are meant to. Technically, hero points are meant to refresh every session.
Are they?
Yeah, but he said
Yeah,
I think
Every
you're meant to
one, every
have
session.
one, but then we've been having them stay so that we get to use them later. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of doing it the other way.
Hmm. 2. Is that right? The man in shadows.
Yeah, if you get a hero point every session, then he should have one.
So how do we want to do this? Because we can set this going forward where you get one a session for big moments, or we could set it to where it's a reward in the time. I guess I could do both.
It's
could
your
do
call. It's really
Like you always
your
have
call.
one, but you can get additional as rewards that stay.
Yeah, I think that'll be solid.
That's how
Okay,
I'm
then I'm
tracking
using
mine.
my hero point.
That works for me.
That's a change.
Oh, you're lucky.
Went to an
that
18.
For a total of 30.
30.
That's... It was-
Much
Much
better.
better.
So you see the... I'm curious, what do you say to shift it? Like, is there a detail or something that you give to change it from that 14 to a 30?
Well, I don't know if you did your due diligence before coming up here, but you can see there are marks on Betsy. You can see that I'm banged up. You know I wouldn't likely run from a fight. You raised me after all. But Cien told me I needed to go. And the rest of us needed to go.
Hmm. Now that is interesting. Of course, we have people look at Betsy. You know me, we can't leave any stone unturned.
Yeah.
You see him get very contemplative. He recedes from the conversation into his own head, sits back and... Okay. Where did this happen? Tell me everything. Every little detail. Who
Well, I
did
know
it? Did you get any good look at anything about him?
He's something about him. He's always in shadow.
It was his face. Was it his whole body? What weapon did he use?
It was his face. Yeah, I mean, just like the story said, he had 2 pistols.
This is a life or death moment for you, Chucky. I'm expecting more details. I thought you'd be remembering this.
I'm getting to them. Well, in the market earlier, I kind of suspected somebody was following us when the tire got stabbed. You know, that tire ain't gonna go flat like normal.
Mm-hmm.
Cien ran into some issues. Somebody at the market said there was some guys trying to charge them protection money and said they took care of it. Well, I imagine after we came back here, we checked in, went to go and see the nightlife, and you know, I didn't want you worrying about me, so we kind of snuck out of the place. I'll be honest with you. That's why the reception people didn't see us leave.
I
Cien
was
met
going to be
us.
talking to you about that.
Cien met us. We're taking a drive. Next thing you know, there's shots at us. I don't know, it was somewhere by the bay, somewhere over there. Cien said they needed to check out this warehouse because of something else that happened, and on the way there, we got hit. They took them to the warehouse, and you know, I followed for a bit, and Cien told us off and told us to get out of there. There was too much for us to pay attention to, and I I obliged. I don't know if you can tell, I'm pretty banged up as it is, and I got a job here. We're passing through, so, you know. And Cien knows our relationship. I think Cien was worried that if I died, there'd be a lot more issues. I don't know if they know, the man in shadow knows about our relationship or our history, but they definitely focused on Cien when Cien ran the opposite direction. I assume they're dead because you wouldn't be looking out and having Ace interrogate me if that wasn't the case. So.
Hey, you know it is. New people come to town. Somebody starts missing. You assume it's the new variable. But if it's this man, that train of yours, how long until it's fixed? 2 days?
I think that's what they said, yeah.
If that man is here, I want you gone.
I can't leave you to face him alone, you know?
This is a bed that I made. I ain't gonna make you lie in it. Ain't no child of mine who's gonna fight for the sins of his father, you know.
Seems you're still worrying and trying to look out for me.
Hey, come on. I made a promise, right?
You made
You
other
and your
promises
parents.
too, but, you know, here you are getting hunted by the man in shadows because of the decisions you made that kind of broke a promise you made.
There are things in life that are unavoidable, Chucky. I do what I have to do. And now I do it for all Chicago. I do it for my city. And I take the consequences of that. I'm sorry that our relationship had to be the first sacrifice that I gave for this place. I'm sorry I hurt you.
Did you even look up what I was doing in life? Read the articles and shit?
How could I not? That table over there. Go and open up the drawer. You walk
Walks
over.
and opens it.
It is every magazine that has had Chuck on the front. For as much as he can get a hold of. There's some that has like pre-tear. There's some letters post-tear about whereabouts for you. It's like anytime I had somebody who came from Los Angeles or made their way across, I asked them, talked to them. I kept tabs as best I could. But after everything went down, you know, I saw you were doing well. After a while, I stopped looking. I knew you were good. I had that confidence in you. You're a strong kid.
You know, I'm not just me anymore.
Oh, yeah? Hey, going through a hell like this, surprised anybody isn't broken a little. Yeah.
Terror changes a man if you're in the right place at the right time.
That changed everybody.
Frankly, I should be dead. My lab blew up with me in it.
No shit. Hey. Doesn't kill you, makes you stronger, right, kiddo?
That's what they say.
Hey, saw those crepes coming along. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I'm doing here. I think I just made like a burnt saucer of soup. I don't know. He's obviously just messing around. He goes, come on, just watch the door. Giovanni stands up again and goes to start making breakfast.
Chuck will go over there and join him, and basically whatever he tells him to do, he'll do.
Yes, I need you to cut some fruit up. There's strawberries and stuff in the refrigerator. And Azuka and Kyoko, you would start hearing like knives hitting the counter, food prep being done. Do you have any plans for today? Any shops you're going to? Any, I don't know. This information's a bit worrying.
I mean,
If I recall, the man in shadow, he only comes out at night, so during the day you'll be fine, but you want to make sure. I want to make sure you're here at night. I'm going to be doubling up the guard for you.
I mean, there's plenty of places that I've seen. I imagine Min, my buddy, would probably like to see that tree over there, see what happened with that in the garden.
Oh, that place. You know, that's some fun stuff. We have get some supplies from there. It's apparently one of the... a seedling from a fae ended up coming in. So that's a dryad. Can you believe that? It's a dryad. It's a nature thing. It's crazy. But they got this dust. It's crazy. People love it here.
You know, I'm not in charge of ammo anymore.
No kidding.
I mean, I don't run the day-to-day. I still own it, but...
I mean, that's the pinnacle of capitalism, right? You build up a business so well, it doesn't need you to run. So you sit back, get some margaritas, you go to the beach. You know, you relax. You earned it.
Maybe I can make a call.
Yeah. Do what? You want to get set up here?
I mean, I already technically worked remotely here in the past, but maybe that's the one way I can help you. I can't
It's
do
not.
a lot, but I can call in maybe at one favor.
It's not a bad idea. You know, this new train from Denver. Now that's going to be opening up things, opportunities again. If we can get some bullets in here, we might be able to finally take out those dingwats in Detroit.
You're looking beyond Chicago now.
I'm looking to defend myself, you know. We got problems everywhere.
If I bring you this, these are not to be used to expand territory. You gotta promise me that.
Let me tell you right now, I'm going to use anything I have to defend my people.
Defend is fine. Trying to expand is a different story.
We can't travel too consistently outside of Chicago to expand out. What I'm saying is the people of Detroit, they like to, they're like raiders, you know. They come out here in their cars and drive around, snatching people, taking stuff. Terrible.
I'll get you some armor.
I won't be against it. Keep people safe. All right, so hey, where's your people? The crepes are done here. What are we doing?
He'll knock on the one cabinet we haven't opened, probably, and go, it's Min's cabinet, and be like, yo, you awake?
After a couple seconds, it opens a crack and he's in there. Hey, what's happening?
Oh, Jesus. You're in there the whole time?
Yeah, it's cozy in here.
Okay. Do I make you like a small crepe or like, what are we doing?
I'll just have like the edge of one.
Okay. I feel like, but like the full meal, you need like a mix of everything. You know, you gotta have a little bit of the Nutella, you gotta have a little bit of the banana and the strawberries, and this. You know, there's some whipped cream we can add on. But it's like to get it to that size.
I'm sorry.
What do we
I'll
do?
work it out. It'll be fine.
Azuka, Kyoko, you guys awake in there?
You're muted.
Muted.
A moment passes, and I think Zuka would crack the door open and poke his head out. Let's go. Oh, breakfast is already done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gio made us some crepes.
Yeah, crepes. Yes. Oh, we got crepes.
Zuka's gonna
Ace,
give
why didn't you
a
ever tell me I
polite
was saying it
smile.
wrong? So,
I
with
think
that,
he's too busy being a lapdog and doesn't want to upset you.
he upsets me plenty. Ain't that right, kiddo? Yes. Yeah, boss. Yep. Mm-hmm. Just completely off on it. There is a long oak dining table in a far side that has like the corner room that is a full glass corner. You're able to look out over into the rest of the city with all this food. And actually a really nice little creperie right there. You say, okay. Who would like to roll for the quality of crepes?
I think
I
that once Azuka leaves, Kyoko will transform back, and then she'll join later.
I feel like you need to roll. Your Gio made them.
Hey, kid,
Usually, it's always Drag.
Yeah.
It's always me. Yeah.
we could do
That's
this.
our cooker.
Hey, yo, kid, do you need anything special for the, you know? Do I have some sulfur? Do I have some brimstone? What do we do?
He's talking to me.
Yeah. Yeah, devil kid.
Devil kid is Azuka is fine. No, just crepes as is fine.
Ah, Zuka, right. Sorry. Yeah. I meet a million people a day. Okay, all right, I'm gonna roll for his food. Let's see. It's you know, it's okay. You know, like
Did you mean to privately roll it?
look at that. I'll say you can roll it again.
No.
Oh my god. You salvaged. I was gonna say you should roll with disadvantage because he had Ace take over, but I'm fine with the 20. I'm taking the 20.
I will say because Breakfast King Azuka walked out, maybe you like took like the bits that Ace had messed up and you kind of like,
Yeah.
do you want to do something with that?
Yeah, because I think working a diner, if you usually make batches of things, and if something goes wrong, you need to be able to salvage it pretty quickly. And I think it's probably just like too watery of a mix when what Ace was working with. So I think he just adds a bit more of the solids into the mix to make it a perfect texture. And today's on Friday, so they haven't like Friday yet. So yeah, he would put it on the pan and make it a perfect. The difference between a crepe and a pancake, basically.
Yeah.
And I think you can tell the difference and the right combination of fruits, for example. I think he like caters it to different people. So it's got like some have like maybe cherries and stuff like that, and strawberries. Some of us have like just like people. Some people might want just plain crepes with like lemon juice over it. Just kind of like specifics for everyone.
Well,
I
now
think
I
that's
want
probably
you
where
to
the net 20
describe the
is.
perfect crepe that you think is for each of our characters.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna sit back and let this happen. I'm kind of curious too. Go for it.
Oh, that's a tough
We're gonna have like
I
a
think
little
for-
survey that's like it tells
Yeah.
you what kind of crepe you are.
Yeah. I think
I'm
honestly,
a savory crepe.
I think
Go.
Azuka asks everyone questions and they seem like unrelated to the crepe, but somehow he's able to garner what you would like on your crepe from it. Just
Okay,
very
ask the
weird
question,
like-
and each of us will answer the question. I want to roleplay this, homie.
I do
Okay,
too.
cool.
Take me
Oh,
down the
God.
crypt lane. We revolve a lot of stuff around food apparently on this channel. I'm always
Yeah.
hungry, and then Kai's like, "Why are you always hungry?" I'm like, "You keep talking about food."
So I think like as he's mixing in the extra like the solid ingredients to make up for the wateriness that Ace had created, he's asking things like this is very weird thing like how did everyone sleep? And then waits for everyone to respond like, yeah, how did all of you sleep? As he's stirring the mixture.
Dude, I lightly slept by the door. What do you want from me?
Hey, I'm just asking, Mentala.
I slept great. It was nice and cozy in there.
How about you, Kyoko?
Well, I feel much more rested this morning.
Good. I think he like gives. Yeah, he's gonna give Gio and Ace just a look and then nods and then go back to stuffing. And then goes, what's another question that's just not related at all? I think it's like pointed at Kyoko, but then he goes over to others and just goes, is this a weird question? Do you keep pets? Is like do Kitsune have pets? Is that a thing?
I suppose they could if they wanted. I don't personally. I think that freedom is nice.
That's fair. That's fair. No, I figured as much. I'm just curious. The idea of like someone who's mostly in fox form keeping a pet cat would have been an interesting thing to see. Chuck, how about you? Do you have pets?
Oh yeah. You haven't been to my place, only Min has. Well, I guess technically you were at my place briefly, but
Yeah, I didn't see any around, but I wouldn't be surprised if you have some.
I mean, I probably do in some places. I can't remember if they're still alive or not.
Interesting. Okay.
Death pancakes for him.
What?
And he...
What's my assistant guy's name? I forgot off the top of my head.
I think it was Percy.
Yeah,
Percy was Percy.
Percy
yeah.
takes
How
care of
could
all
you
that.
forget Percy?
Sorry, my brain is busy.
Percy's over
I
there
know.
taking care of like 300 pets in 5 different buildings in 20 different countries.
Listen, I'm pretty sure if my place still in Utah is intact, the horses are still there. But outside of that, I mean, at my main place, there's no pets that I take care of.
Noted. Okay. And it turns to...
The chat was like, I thought you were going to say Percy was your pet. I'm sorry, I had to share that because it's too funny.
That's great. That is great.
I don't know if you consider an assistant a pet, but you know, Percy exists, so.
No, I don't think I consider living like sentient. No, I don't think he counts.
Whoa!
Somewhere off in Los
You say
Angeles,
dogs
Percy
aren't
cries
sentient?
a
I'm pretty
single
sure
tear.
they're more alive than some people anymore. You know.
I'm not going to unpack everything you just revealed to me, Chuck.
Well, he's not
Mentala.
wrong, just so you know. You can speak with animals with certain types of magic, and I'd like to say
suppose
that
that's
many of
true.
them are pretty sentient.
I suppose, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I just think keeping a human as a pet, there's a whole history. You know what? Never mind.
And
I'm
goblins
gonna
do it all the
turn-
time.
Some people are into
I don't know
that
if you
type
know
of thing.
goblin culture, but they do it all the time. I don't know if it's a pet or what they would call it, but you know.
Mintala, how about you?
I've never really had any pets. Some of my people keep riding corgis.
Oh, that's actually really okay. Did you have a? So you never had a pet? You never had like a riding corgi yourself?
No, I never had one of those.
Okay. And just a random question: what's everyone's favorite color?
I like red.
Could have guessed.
If Min doesn't say red, are you going to be insulted?
No, it's my favorite color.
Yeah, my
He
favorite
can't
color's
have
green.
red, it's mine.
I like green.
Green. Okay, red, green.
Yeah, they were Christmas. You know,
Yeah, you are.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
He just like starts rocking to himself.
How about you, Kyoko?
Well, I don't think I've ever thought about what my favorite color is. I suppose it depends on what the color's being used for.
Okay, that's a fair question. If you had any choice of a color to paint a room you're going to be in for quite frequently, and you know that would give you some level of joy, what color would you pick?
Well, if I have to be in the room often, I suppose something more neutral.
Neutral. So no specifics. You don't need to be specific. I can probably work with just neutral. And he'll turn to Chuck. And you, Chuck, what's your favorite color?
Well, it depends on what I'm putting it on, you know? I like a good bittersweet, maybe a jasper. Smalt is pretty nice. It's a nice shade of blue. I see it on my china all the time. But if we're talking naturally occurring in nature, kettle, yeah.
I love
Please
the
tell me you
answer.
just
How different
Googled-
all the answers are.
Please tell me you just Googled fancy colors.
He absolutely did. I can see him looking at the screen right now.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Just names of car colors, like color paint for cars.
I think
Great.
the moment you start the list off the first weird color, Azuka's eyes glaze over. It's like, okay, cool. Complicated colors, interesting.
I feel like Azuka regrets the.
Oh yeah.
And from that, somehow, he puts together perfect, unique stacks of crepes for everyone. And I think for Mintala, Mintala said, I'm going to actually try and incorporate everything. Mintala didn't have a pet. Don't know how that's going to work with this crepe. Mintala slept pretty well, pretty cozy. And what do you say Mintala's favorite color was?
It was green.
Terrible. Green. Okay. How am I going to do
And
this?
red. And red.
and red is red. I think for red, it's like a very simple stack of crepes. But over it, I don't know, probably like got crushed red bricks sprinkled over it.
Gotta have that extra little crunch, with the
little crunch.
mushiness.
No.
Did you break a plate and just crumble it into it some ceramic?
I fully grab a red plate and just turn to G and go, sorry, and then just break it. And then kind of like dust the glass shavings onto the crepe and hand it over to red. There you go. Anyone who walks around this area, watch your step, especially if you're barefooted, because you might get some shards. Okay. And
Oh boy, porcelain.
For Mintala, I feel like he's a fun guy. I think it'd be like.
I thought you were. I'm like, is he going to put mushrooms on?
Oh
you?
no!
Because I thought
I'm
that
not
was
that
your plan.
punny.
You're like, he's a fun guy. I was like, mushroom.
Give him some
crepes?
drugs.
Just
Oh, fun guy.
Come on.
Try to give him some psilocybin or something like that.
no. It's gonna be a stack of crepes.
It's
I don't
early.
know, whipped cream. And I think he makes a pancake. I know what he does. Before he sprinkles the shaving of porcelain on the pancake, on the crepes, he gets a cookie cutter and cuts out a section of it and takes out that second section that is Mintala's.
Okay.
Does the porcelain shavings and gives it over to Red, and then on the little stack that he's cut out for Mintala, things like the tiniest spray of whipped cream.
Just
just kind of gets real close to it and goes, okay, that's perfect. And it's probably I don't know, sprinkles on it. I don't know if he would go through the effort of picking the green ones. I don't think he would. So he just puts like sprinkles over it and hands it over to Mintala. I think there'd be like sprinkles and some chocolate as well with it, I think. For Chuck, what the fuck would Chuck want?
I mean,
I
if
think-
we want to get into it, somebody did just place a Chat GPT crepe survey.
Oh my god, legitimately?
Yeah.
No,
Really?
I think it would be like he
I
would
don't
pick
think-
any. I imagine
There's
Geo
cereals.
has like fruits imported from places as well. I imagine like fruits that aren't like typically or easy to grow in Chicago,
in
and maybe even
Valtorn.
in the US.
You should
Um,
put some flower, the purple flowers, the Kedoya flower petals.
The petals on it. I
They're
don't know if
A
edible
he
nice
would.
flowers.
floral bouquet for this crepe.
Oh, I think he would make he would make the crepes and then cut them out and then arrange them to make flower petals. Yeah, I think he would
Okay.
arrange them to be the flower. He probably I don't know. I don't know. I
That's
think
really
he probably heard about
sensitive
it for Chuck.
for Chuck.
I mean,
Chuck's a
he's-
sensitive guy.
He seems like
Yeah.
a sensitive guy hiding behind a mask.
I
you
would have
know?
made like it in the shape of a bullet.
That is
No, that's
pretty-
Geo.
yeah.
Geo's
Or in the
nickname
shape
is
of a
the
car.
bullet.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
There we
like,
go.
You know,
Betsy.
I think he would have like shaped them into like the heads of roses because I think he's aware that the kettle whatever is a flower, but he has no idea what it looks like. So he arranges them into like rose heads, on the plate. I think he would have incorporated like thin slices of I don't know, probably like cherries or some other red fruit in there, so that you kind of have that spots of color within the crepes and flower arrangement, and hands that over to Chuck. And even as he hands it to Chuck, he's like, I'll be honest, I don't know. I just went with the flow with this one and hands it over to Chuck.
Honestly,
That
little
is a-
crepes in the
that
shape
is
of
a
a little rose would be
beautiful-
pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful work of art.
Okay, so be ready for our next show. It's going to be called Bake For It, where we make fantasy-themed pastries and breakfasts, and
We have a
we
theme on
scale
this
it on a 0
channel.
to 20.
We've had many people with cooking roles.
Oh my god, we fully need like a baking and cooking like
I feel like we could do like a
centric-
charity thing. Like we do, like, a
TTRPG.
big,
Yeah, that'd be
Big
fun. I'd be down.
For Kyoko,
Yo,
be
we
like
could-
Food Wars without the insane
the
you
weird,
could-
yeah,
He'd be
you
like
those,
like a
yeah.
Hell's Kitchen, or like you work for like
But
a
you have to
Michelin
do
star.
like game themed like cook
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
cooks
yeah,
type of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Nerdy Nummies style, like how she does like themed cooking.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Naganamis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you're a party of Michelin star chefs trying to impress a food critic.
Ooh.
There we go.
That's a good one shot. All right. Next
Yeah.
one shot. We got it.
There we go.
Kai's GMing.
Kitchen gone wrong.
Oh no.
It could literally be called Hell's
Vacation
Kitchen.
gone
You could
wrong.
be-
called Hell's
Kitchen
Kitchen.
gone
You
wrong.
could be like devils or demons.
Oh my
Um,
god.
Oh my gosh, you're all devils and demons and not a
Yeah.
cooking
In Hell's
show.
Kitchen.
Well, devils versus demons.
Oh,
Going to Vegas, y'all.
That's even better.
For Kyoko.
What would Iron Chef
My
be like?
tiramisu is the best. You will like it, and you will eat it.
I'm a cannoli man myself. Please go away.
So with my dish, I prepared a creme brulee. I fried it over the sounds of the screaming damned. You can probably taste that tang in there.
Use pure hellfire to singe.
I used pure hellfire. I used the last flames of life in a wicked man to really toast the
All right,
tops of
can I
it.
say, people wonder why our after shows
Yes.
are 30 to 45 minutes. This is why.
This is why, yeah.
Keep going
This is
off of
really
each
why.
other.
Sorry. Okay, Kyoko.
But like it's supposed to be 15 to 20 minutes. We're like 40 minutes later. You guys, it's been 40 minutes. We should probably wrap this up.
And then we start talking about on topic again for another
Right.
10 minutes.
Kyoko's crepe. Kyoko's crepe will be I feel like that's the hardest one for me, weirdly enough.
Really?
What's a timeless
Yeah.
classic for a crepe?
Ooh.
Nutella.
Just a
I think it
regular
is
classic.
just regular
Regular
Nutella.
crepe.
Yeah, I think it's hardest for him because
He wants to
I don't know, I
impress
think-
Kyoko.
I think Kyoko just still a
Ooh.
mystery to him as well. Kind of like
Mhm.
he still doesn't fully understand Kyoko. Doesn't fully understand anyone, but I think Kyoko less so. Oh boy.
I saw that too.
Oh,
Tyler.
I know. It's so it's a stack, but every layer has there's like layers to it. So the top is like Nutella, but beneath that is like, I mean, top would be like probably whipped cream. Beneath that is like Nutella. Beneath that crepe has like I don't know. That one probably has like strawberry slices incorporated into it as well as on top of it. And I think he did that because he wants to always keep her guessing because she always seems to know the future. So he wants to surprise her every single bite she takes.
I like that.
So I think that's what he makes for Kyoko.
Nice.
For Ace and Gio, he just creates with Nutella on it. He's like, here you go, and hands it over to them. For him,
I'm just gonna add one more little thing here. He takes like a pinch of like coffee grinds and like sprinkles it through. Goes, hey, it's perfect. Now it gives you a kick.
he kind of grimaces. I think seeing someone add something to his creation, and like, oh, okay.
You're insulted.
Oh, you've ruined the flavor profile that I just had for you.
But also he should know it's Gio, and it's like don't say nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't say anything, but I also think Azuka doesn't hide the look on his face. It's like, okay.
Oh,
And goes,
Gio gives you the cheekiest grin of like, just, hey, you know, I made it better for you. It's great. As he like walks away.
for himself, honestly, I think he's the definitely kind of baker who kind of like eats as he's cooking. So I think he doesn't make one for himself because he's had a bit of everyone's as he was making it anyway.
I can see that. You take like the leftover like bits of like you prepared everybody's stuff out, and then you take all of what's left, put it into one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how he gets a nat 20 on the crepes.
All right. Let's go with roll me. Let's go with the D. I mean, last time we did a D20. Yeah, roll me a D20, and that's how many extra hit points y'all got.
Ooh.
I feel
Five.
like I feel like
Five.
because it was a nat 20 though, he should be able to roll with advantage.
Nat 20 allows the roll, Tyler.
Yeah,
Okay.
nat 20 gives us the 10 HP in the first place.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'll take it.
All right.
We'll get 5 10 HP.
So Ace sits down, starts eating, goes, hey man, this is really good.
Oh, he says that to Azuka?
Yeah.
Azuka, as Azuka's eating like the kind of leftovers he's after making everyone else, he just goes, I know, and puts another mouthful in.
He goes, respect. He goes and starts eating. Pan over to Gio and Chuck and everybody else at the other end. So, yeah, what are y'all's plans?
I mean, I don't know if everyone else decided on one, but I don't really have any, at least not until the train is ready to leave, right?
I'd simply mention that Min might want to go check out the garden over there with the tree.
Yeah, I want to see the big tree. It looks cool.
I would advise, maybe not.
Oh,
Why not?
Yeah, it's outside the city walls, you know, it's dangerous to get over there.
oh. Are you sure? I mean, we'll be fine, right? I got red. I got magic. I'll be fine.
Okay, if that's what you want to do, I'm not gonna stop you, but be back before dark.
Okay.
This,
Just a little peek.
There's Shadow Man running about. You guys don't want to be out in that mess. If he's looking for you, no.
Yeah, I'll be careful.
Actually, go and talk to that conductor of yours, see if I can aid in any sort of repairs. Get you out of here faster.
Yeah, maybe that's a job Ace could do for you. Chuck kind of
Ace,
has
like,
a
just stops.
shit-eating grin on his face as he's looking at Gio.
He just stops eating for a second and just looks up. And then, like, just starts going back down. It's not a bad idea. I got people who deal with that.
You know, I bet I could outshoot you.
Me?
Probably
Kid,
outshoot
you know.
Ace too.
Hey, you know you're never able to. You know you can't. I taught you how to do these things. You think you can outshoot me? Kiddo.
I
No,
built
no,
a
no.
whole empire without you.
Yeah, but who gave you that big start, you know? Who taught you how to build? This guy right here. This guy.
He just gave me the tools.
I gave you the tools, I gave you the skill, but yes, you did. You went out on your own and you did great, kid. I'm happy for you. I'm sure your parents will be proud too.
His smile immediately kind of sinks at that message, and he looks away from Gio.
So, you guys have your meal. A little bit of awkward silence at some points.
I think Kyoko's been just kind of observing everyone while she's eating pretty quietly.
Kiki, you mind giving it one last go with this shadow man in town? It'd be nice to have a little knowledge of what's gonna come.
I can certainly try.
Especially if he's coming after you guys. Oof.
Kyoko will like nod her head.
All right. So, after the meal is finished, we go and sit down back into the center of the communal area on the couches, and Gio sits across from me. So, how would you like to do this today?
She pulls out from this tiny bag that she has with her. It looks kind of like a purse. This giant like skull crystal. It's like a dark purple almost, but still kind of transparent. And she sets it in the middle of like what I imagine like a coffee table.
Mhm.
She kind of kneels down in front of it, and she says, "Well, put your hands on that. We'll see what
Okay.
happens."
Sounds good. Go
Then
ahead
he
and
puts
roll
his
fortune telling.
hands down. She'll put her hands on top of his and closes her eyes. 24.
Okay.
Not a natty.
13.
With that, you get glimpses of Giovanni being paranoid in his office. Checking in on other people. You see him surviving the night. But he does have, you see things on his desk that are old documents from his days back in Los Angeles. Like, it has, like, information on the man in shadow, like, different eyewitness reports of, like, his clothing, his style, his guns, like stuff, like when they hear shots, is it a big shot? Like it's everything that he has. So he's trying to figure out. They are on a hunt for this man. So, am I a dead man?
She opens her eyes back up and looks him in the eye and says, "Not this time, Gio. Alive as alive can be. If not a little paranoid, though."
Yeah, if you saw this man dismantle an entire mob family back in Los Angeles, you'd be a little paranoid too.
It appears
No,
you've
this
done a
guy-
lot of research on him as is. Hopefully
This
that
guy
aids
was,
you in finding him.
This guy was a menace. He'd take out entire squad cars of guys within seconds. Walk up, pop, 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 gone. Never even see him. Yeah, when you get a boogeyman like that walking around, you'd be paranoid too.
Interesting. She says, like, to him, but almost more retrospectively to herself than anything else.
Chuck is out on the balcony when this happens, so he's not in the room hearing this for reasons.
Hey, Jack, I got a gift for you. He reaches into his back coat. He pulls out a gun. This is mine from back in the day. I know it's not much, but I want you to have it. I see you walking around those little 6-shooters you always do. You never know. Sometimes you just need to unload. Kind of hands the grip of the rifle, the pistol to you.
I imagine he like grabs my arm and kind of puts it in my hand.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
My parents.
What about him? No. Maybe. To be honest, I don't know. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take it.
Everything seems so long ago.
That's what happens with time. Just keeps on going. Things get farther away. Memories get fuzzy. You think about those things, you fill in the gaps, and then you realize over how long a period of time, how many gaps have you filled in? Are those memories even yours?
Yeah. One thing I do remember, though. The man in shadow doesn't show up for a while. He's waiting until you let your guard down. Till you're no longer searching, till you're no longer paranoid, till you're vulnerable again.
Well, I'm
You did
worried
make
about...
quite a commotion coming, obviously going after Cien, who's close to you.
What I'm worried about, Chuck, is if you leave, and the man in shadow does as well, kind of looks at you very sternly in the eyes, there may be a bigger problem.
Think he'd come after me?
Yeah. I don't know who you made deals with or friends with back in the day, back in LA, but if it ain't me, it's you.
Nah, that wouldn't make sense why he'd go after Cien instead of coming after me.
Maybe he wasn't going after Cien. Maybe you got in the way.
I'll keep my
Maybe-
wits about me.
Good. Good. You guys have a great day. If you need anything, just ask anybody. I'll have people coming to check up on you later. I'll be at the house if you need me. Ace.
Hope you get some rest.
Yeah, ain't no rest for the wicked now, huh? So, gets his coat, puts it on. Ace opens the door, and he walks out. And Ace just kind of goes around and takes one long look at all of you. Okay. Leaves.
Oh, that's settled.
Something like that.
I don't know how much you guys heard, but I told him what he needed to know.
Kyoko will
I picked up
nod.
most of it. It seemed like it worked.
Of course it did. We told the truth. He'll kind of look over at me, and it's just kind of like, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, that's why Kyoko's been pretty quiet. She does not trust this place.
So can we go look at that tree?
I mean, I'm as game as any.
I think I got some other things to do, but I trust that y'all can behave yourselves.
Chuck kind of laughs at that, and he's like, come on, look at me.
Is that supposed to reassure me?
I'm banged up as it is. You think I'm going to risk getting my pretty face messed up again?
I just want to take just like a look, just like a little look. I want to see what's going on over there.
Just be careful, is all I'm saying.
Okay. I've got red. It'll be fine.
What are you taking care of, if you can say?
Just think I want to say hi to my old friend, Elizabeth. Y'all are welcome to join. But if it's a tree you'd like to see, I wouldn't want to keep you from that.
Yeah, no, I don't want to encroach. I'll go with the tree group.
Good. Glad you picked one of the two options, because somebody's got to keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
Kyoko will take the ring of Devil's Luck and put it in Azuka's hand. Might be helpful.
Hey, Azuka. Don't you have that weird item that makes you really aware of where you are?
Yes. I can't remember if I still have that or not. That's the Hellsight talisman, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I kind of really want to know where I am right now, if you catch my drift.
I'll be honest. As he's taking it off, he goes, I'll be honest, I don't catch your drift, but here you go. And he's going to hand it over to Chuck.
I figured it'd clarify some of my thoughts, center me and ground me.
Okay.
Does
1 hour later, we're going to find out what happens.
Yeah.
Because you have to attune to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Invest into it.
After show, we know what's going to happen.
No, Chuck
Oh,
literally
that-
is like,
I don't know
I wanna feel grounded, because right now he's like, he just made a big decision. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you pass the talisman off.
And I have the Ring of Devil's Luck. What does that do?
It allows you to re-roll a save once a day.
Once a day? Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Since
And
you're not going to be with
as-
Kyoko, she's like, I need that.
When you put the ring onto Azuka's hand, it does have like a bit of your electricity just kind of pops off of it. Just a little bit. Like a static shock almost.
Oh.
And I add that at the points that it like connects with Azuka's like finger, the electricity, the static shock specifically, those ends are like a dark blackish red, which is if it's becoming Azuka's.
Interesting. I'm scared. Is that weird? Is that like
Why
normal?
would you be? Sure.
Is that
Why not?
is that a normal thing? Yes.
Who knows?
Kyoko's giving a ring to Zuka. The chat is
I didn't even think about
the
that.
chat is going off on their own little escapade.
Didn't
We're
even
going
think
on
about
a
that.
ship.
There's gonna be some more fanfic, I think.
I'm very
Yeah.
interested in why like part of the ship is different than the other part of the ship in the water level thing.
It's they
Two
go
emos.
together.
Yeah, it's
they're-
two different.
Oh, it's the front of the ship.
So
the
you
water's, like,
usually put the
picked
ship
up.
name in the
It's
middle,
the-
and then you put like who you're shipping together.
But the
Yeah,
front,
yeah,
the
yeah.
front is just the water is higher because the ship's like pushing it aside. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah,
actual
it's a
water.
wake.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, we already have a fanfic apparently about
Betsy and Red, I think.
Betsy and Red.
Wait, there is?
Yeah, it's in the
Oh my
I think I
God.
posted today. Or
Discord.
yesterday.
It got posted
Yes!
today or yesterday. I can't remember.
Mentala's and
It was
Chuck's
today, it
prank
was-
lives on.
It was a few hours ago. It got posted in the Discord.
It's now immortalized in fan fiction. Okay. Well, with that, Kyoko, where are you headed?
She's gonna head to visit Elizabeth.
All right. So you head down to the coffee shop. People saying hi along the way. Say, hey, how you doing? It's been so long. You meet a couple people. Then ding, ding, ding as you're coming through. And you see the man behind the counter again. It's like, okay, please don't convince any more of our baristas to go and join the circus, please. I would enjoy having staff.
Well, I didn't convince her. She convinced herself.
See, this is just the kind of workaround talk that you can do of like, oh yeah, I didn't do it, but like, come on.
I didn't make the decision for her. And you know that. Damn well.
Kind of stares at you for half a second, just, well,
Keep
can I
the
get you
smiles.
anything?
I was wondering if Elizabeth is here.
Yes, actually. Let me run and grab it for you. Somebody else comes to take their place as other customers are being helped with. It's a relatively busy day. Walks to the back, hits a door that opens up, and there's some stairs right there as this blonde woman, roughly mid-30s, comes down the stairs. Yeah? It seems your friend Kyoko is here. Oh, that's lovely. Key? Oh my God! She like runs out, like runs through and just kind of like gives you a big old hug. Oh my God, how are you? How are you doing?
Oh, Lilibet. And she gives her a good hug. Well, I'm just all right. I hope you're doing well.
I'm, doing great. The shop's doing well. It's, yeah. Tell me everything about you. You went out to Los Angeles and then you came back and like, okay, why are you here? How long are you staying? Tell me everything.
Well, not too much longer, unfortunately. I thought I'd be here for a few days, but it appears our journey is probably going to be moving on a little bit more quickly than I thought.
Okay.
But I have
How
many
much time
things
do you
to tell
have?
you.
We can go get our nails done. We can go and get some drinks. We can go to some dancing. I can fit this in. We can fit this into today. I can make this happen.
Sounds lovely. And I
Perfect.
think Kyoko has a great day with Lilibet.
You guys go and you chat, getting your nails done. You go to a swing dancing club and have some fun there. What's some other fun stuff that you would have on your pseudo day off?
Quick question before you jump into it.
Yeah.
Does Kyoko get the human forms nails done or the fox nails? Because I need to know.
I think she stays in like her more human form to make other people feel comfortable
Yeah.
than walking around as a fox and having to talk in people's heads. I think that disorientates a lot of people. But I think during one of the conversations that's a little bit more private, maybe on a drive somewhere, Kyoko is going to ask her, how are things here in Chicago?
Well, to be honest, they're okay.
Are you sure?
It's-
I've seen things that Gio has been up to. He's not the same person he was before.
No, but honestly, he keeps this place safe, keeps this place running. It's people don't kill other people.
Well, I suppose that's a good one.
Yeah. They basically don't, ruffle the status quo of the family and, pay your dues on time, and everybody's just kind of allowed to live. And that says a lot in this day and age. It's the devil we know.
Kyoko nods. Well, as long as he's not giving you any trouble. If he does, you let me know.
Of course. Immediately be the first people I'll call.
I started up another shop in
You
LA.
didn't. How's
I
it
did.
doing? Did you go
It's
with the same
doing quite
hunting
well.
stone, same vibe?
Similar vibe, a little different, but similar.
Mm-hmm.
But I started feeling sick again.
Oh, is that why you're back?
Oh, kinda. Less back and more why I'm traveling through.
Okay. Well, if there is anything I can get you, I have some great tea that's wonderful for throat. It really helps with the immune system. Maybe that could help out?
I'll take some of that. Could be helpful. I don't know when
Wonderful.
something's gonna flare up again, but
Okay.
seems
Remind
to
me
have
of-
subsided quite a bit.
Okay.
Although,
Well, remind me when we get back. I have like 3 or 4 teas. And she starts listing off all of these like different herbal remedies that she might have for your magical curse.
all right. And I think that's what she was trying to gauge out of that, is just understand like what's going on. Catch up with a good friend, and then also just see if there's anything that's causing
What
problems.
you see in her eyes when she's thinking about this is that she hasn't thought about the comparison of what this society is when compared to the pre-tear society.
Mm.
Obviously, it's different. Obviously, there's changes that would have to have been made to accommodate for a new world. And it's something that she'd kind of like pushed out of her mind. And the reminder of things being so different now to somebody whose life really is wake up, take care of a shop, take care of people, make sure you have your money by the end of the week, and then go back to sleep. They haven't had to deal with goblins in bikes or devils with chains or trains being kidnapped by automatons. You know, this person knows how to really make a good cup of coffee.
Yeah. She's just well, she's older now, but just
Yeah.
a young lady. Yeah, and I think it's kind of all I needed out of that. I just wanted to make sure she's all right, the town's all right, get kind of an insider scoop other than Gio's perspective, because that's all she's really had.
Mhm.
And then Xian Chung, who I don't trust anything that person said.
If you were to ever bring that up with her, she'd be like, oh, I know, she was always so weird.
No,
That
Kyoko would not
halo?
gossip.
Like, come on, we get it. You're like angelic. A little bit of show off. Well, it's been nice to see you. Hopefully you can come back sooner.
Well, we'll see.
We will. Okay, so I know this new place, and you guys just go off into the city.
Sounds good.
Everybody else, we go to the northern gate. As the doors open. Go
Don't
for
get
it.
yourselves into trouble.
Before that, I
Mhm.
think still within the was it like a penthouse? I can't remember exactly what kind of building
The
it was.
suite.
The suite, yeah, the suite we're in. As everyone's getting ready, probably even already ready, Zuko would be like, can you give me like an hour? I need to. There's nowhere to work out. I kind of just need to meditate for a bit, if that's okay. So you could do it under the tree, but I just feel comfortable doing it in a place where at least I don't think I'm going to be attacked rather than outside the city walls. Is that cool? Is that okay?
That's okay, we got time. As long as we get home before dark.
And you never know when you might be attacked. You know what the man in shadow is about. He gives you like a little wink.
Yeah, no, I think at least for now, hopefully, the man in shadows doesn't want to do any harm to me, and he kind of like gives Chuck a look as he says that.
There's not enough shadows, right? It's still bright.
Yeah. And he will go to his bedroom. He won't close the door or anything, so I think he's fully aware that everyone wants to keep an eye on him. But he will go to the room and sit on the bed and cross his legs and I guess like meditate, center himself, and in the process, because I would like to fulfill this requirement, I'm going to try and contact the Duke.
Fill this requirement. What? What?
We still don't know what happened in any of those headset off segments.
I have
The
no
viewers
clue.
know. We've got no clue.
Inside Kyoko's head, knock, knock at the door, and the Duke's asleep.
Yeah, go ahead and make a. You can talk to him. Yeah, sure. So would you, from the outside, you see Uzuka go into this meditative pose as sporadically these little bits of magic just start shifting and altering, and you see their shadow actually split at some points, and then like have this long flowing hair, then back to Azuka's hair, then back to something else, and it's like almost like this thing that's morphing between these two people, if you were to be watching. And I want everybody to take their headphones off, except for Drac. So you enter in, you imagine yourself walking through a door, and you are into that space, and you're into the throne room, and looking out a window to the side of the throne, to the room around, is the Duke Belial.
Now, kid, this has been interesting. This Giovanni guy, I don't get it. I mean, obviously he's making deals with some people, and Ace, God, what a hard ass. I don't like him.
Yeah, no, I'm not really a fan of either of them either, honestly.
Fair.
Especially when he added coffee grounds to
Yeah,
the crepes I made.
who does that? I feel like that would
Really
totally
don't.
throw off the natural acidity of the taste. Like,
Yeah, I really like. I didn't put as much effort into his as I did everyone else's, but I put the perfect amount of Nutella on it and only took into account a crepe, not a crepe and coffee grounds. It's
exactly.
It's
What a
what we
fool.
got. He ate it, not me, so I'm not really complaining. But I have, and I'm gonna, if I can, I would like to, like, in this space, have brought with me a chess set.
You will a chess set into existence, and one appears outside the door that you walk through, and he goes,
Interesting.
Okay, yeah,
Brilliant.
bring it in.
Okay.
and as he says, bring it in, it shuffles across the ground on a table of itself, just shoots over to between you two, and two chairs almost apparate out of the ground itself.
And Azuka walks over to one of the chairs and sits down, and gestures to the chair in front of him.
Then a game we shall play.
He goes and sits down in front of you.
And as he plays, just goes, yeah, I figured, one, we're going to be sharing the same soul under, I hope, better circumstances, better relationships. I figured we might as well spend time together. And a friend of mine said, if there's something I want to do, I should just do it. You're the closest I can get to playing a game with someone who's family. Just considering the time we spent together, but
Hey, I'll take it.
yeah, I went with chess because I imagine two-player Monopoly is just kind of a loop.
God, and it's all about more deals, Ryan. I feel like that part of our relationship's a little, a bit gone.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's get it started then.
And you guys have a fun, interesting game of chess. He is very good.
No,
Immediately,
so.
like, you take your time to put something and he just, like, immediately. And after a while, he just keeps his arms folded, and you can see, like, the pieces will move themselves, and you guys you learn to do the same. And you guys are just staring, having a conversation as the pieces are moving.
Yeah, I don't think, unless of course Bilal mentioned anything, but I don't think there's anything like pertinent that Azuka brings up. I think it's generally like small talk.
Okay.
I think it's definitely forced. I think you can tell he's like trying, cause like is
Mhm.
uncomfortable already talking to
So
a devil.
How's the weather?
Yeah.
Whatever I want it to be.
Yeah, but you can tell definitely like he's making an attempt to have like a very civil conversation and relationship with this devil as he's playing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, definitely. You guys have a great. It's kind of like that awkward first date, you know,
Yeah,
where it's like you're friends of friends, and then you actually have your first time hanging out without other people, and it's kind of like this. So where do we fit as friends? How does this work
Yeah.
out?
exactly. Yeah, I think honestly that's a perfect way to explain it. Yeah.
Sweet.
I am curious though, who wins the chess match?
I'm gonna have you roll against his intelligence DC then.
Okay. Would be like a flat intelligence.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a good way to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I have a +0 to it, so it's probably not gonna be great. Yeah, an 8.
Let me just pull his stuff up. Was not thinking I'd be going into this today. Okay. And what'd you get?
An 8. It's terrible.
Yeah, you do not succeed. I'm gonna be honest. He whoops your ass like 3 or 4 times. You play a game within the hour, and he just beats you. Beats you.
Cool.
It's all about planning ahead, Azuka. You can react in the moment as much as you want, but if somebody is ahead of you in predicting your reactions, that's where they get you.
And he says this as he moves his queen to another position that puts your king into checkmate. And it's just the last game.
Damn it. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'm not much of a planner. I'm more of a reaction kind of person. But I'll figure it out. At the very least, I'll not lose so quickly.
I'm always here if you want to try again.
Yeah. No, as fun as this is, I'm keeping everyone waiting. So I'm gonna head out. Apparently, there's a dryad that grew just outside the city walls.
Ah.
So we're gonna check that out. I mean, Tyler's kind of curious.
Interesting. It's been a long time since I've seen a dryad. Well, good luck.
Now I'm worried that you said I need that, but okay. And he's going to deapparate the chess set as he walks out.
The chess set leaves through the door, and as soon as it leaves through, it dissipates into nothingness. And as you walk through, you're back up in that meditative state. And we can say that in that time, you guys attuned or invested into the items that you have.
One thing I can hear us, we have to get him to put earphones in.
All right, Azuka, what chaos did you cause now?
Why did you need to roll an int?
Yeah.
No
worries.
chaos. It's just
Pretty bad roll, so.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Just that things are going to continue as they were.
Yeah. So does Chuck ask that?
No, that was just me
that
being
was just
silly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Chuck doesn't know you rolled an int roll.
Oh, not the intro. He was like, "What chaos did you unleash this time?" So I was like,
Oh,
"Did Chuck just
that's
assume that
funny.
he's causing chaos?"
No,
okay.
Chuck would just be probably playing with the gun that Geo gave him.
Ooh.
So it is a Tokarev pistol. It is actually Russian made.
Ah, great. Love it.
Yes, very popular in the 1930s.
I'll have to put that on my sheet at some point.
Yeah.
No, but he's basically just looking at the gun, checking it, making sure it works, sort of thing.
Okay.
You
Wow, you
didn't have
were-
your
I feel
headphones
like-
in, but Kai said that it would have been an hour, so he would have time to invest in the magical items
He
have
would
as well,
have.
Chuck.
Yeah.
I feel like when Azuka like opens his eyes, Mentella's probably like, I don't know what kind of lights there are in here, like whatever like central light fitting or chandelier or whatever there is.
Mhm.
Mentala's just hanging from it, like with his knees wrapped around a bar, just upside down.
Just kind of
Cute.
waiting.
He's
Swinging.
very bored.
Come on, guys, let's get out of here quickly. Let's go. Just immediately.
Hey, Mentala.
Hey, how'd it go?
It was good. Feel more centered now. Yeah, I think we should be good.
Nice. I tried it, but like, it's a long time to meditate.
Yeah, no, I it's progressively gotten longer. I used to start off at 1 or 2 minutes, and I've just kind of practiced and trained to go longer and longer over the years.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah, when I first started, it would be a miracle to have me sitting in one place for more than 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
But honestly, even just 30 seconds, it still counts as meditating. So if that's all you can do, that's all you can do.
Nice. And I like let my legs off this light and like flap the wings really hard as I'm drifting back down.
I'll like put my hand out, just like on instinct and precaution, just in case, like underneath Mentala. Okay, let's. Go
And don't
see
worry,
that.
I got the shoes, and then I just stopped midair.
Yeah, right before my hand. Like, okay, yeah, I forgot about that. Let's go see that dryad. Where's Chuck?
He's
Oh,
just in
took
the
my hand out
common
of the
area
room.
playing with the gun.
So I think you would have like taken it apart, putting it back together just to see if there's anything wrong with it. It is perfectly functional. It's just old. It might catch at some point if you were to just fire off everything really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll probably mess with it later, but right now he doesn't have time. But he also attuned with the item, and I'm curious if it shows him where he is really well.
So you have to actively use it. It's not something that is constantly occurring. Let me go back to that.
Okay, then he wouldn't have actively used it in that moment then.
Yeah.
So
it increases your spell save DC by 1 for when you cast a spell.
oh cool, when I cast a spell. Love
Mhm.
Yeah, casting a spell. Yeah.
When you cast a
Chuck's
spell.
great at
I
spell
cast
casting.
bullets at my enemy.
I cast black powder. Boom.
I'm in a campaign where I'm playing a gunslinger, and I'm the only non-magical player, like not even remotely non-magical. in any way, shape,
Huh.
or form.
I feel like I'm the only non-magical character.
I
in
mean,
this
at
game.
least I'm still melee. At least I'm a melee fighter still. But like
There you
in
go.
there, everyone's like a long distance spellcaster. I'm just here like I pew pew. That's all I do.
I go bang bang. That's my turn.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I'm like a
Bang,
warlock.
bang,
I
mother
use
trucker.
Eldritch Blast. Okay.
All right, so we ready to head to that tree?
Yeah.
Yep.
You're not gonna like light it on fire or anything, right?
But no, dude.
Isn't a dread a living
is anybody...
thing? Is it like are they like fully like people? I don't think we should set it on fire.
Why would we even do that?
Good.
Light the tree on fire?
I was just making sure. You know.
Okay.
I don't want you
Well,
going all
I'm gonna make
California
sure
gender
that
reveal on
nobody-
me. Jeez.
It's a forest fire.
No, it's just one tree. It's just really big. All right.
So you guys get down to Betsy, climb in, make your drive towards the northern gate, have a fun time seeing the people in the city and all the life that's happening there. I'm assuming at one point, because it's been some time, you see Kyoko and Elizabeth like walking and talking and having a fun day together. As you're driving out, you get to the gates. Got a man there's like, Lily, so where are you going?
Oh, we're heading to check out the garden outside the wall.
Oh, you're going to the garden. Oh, that's going to be a good time. Be careful. Some people don't come back. You know, just I ain't gonna tell you how to live your life. Just watch out.
What
if
do
you
the
wanna
people
come,
who
maybe
do
you
come
could be
back
the one
say?
that doesn't come back.
Yeah, not many people go there except for for Giovanni's, man. You know, it's you gotta go get the trade.
Ah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Okay. Well, just when am I expecting you back?
Before nightfall.
Ooh, that's smart. A lot of bad things come out at night.
Yeah, big spooky ghosts. Ooh.
Those two.
Oh, I was joking, but
When Chuck says I was joking, Azuka like looks at you like, yeah, no, ghosts are like a problem. Even I think he knows from studying with Cade, like, no, ghosts are like very much
A thing.
and ghouls and spirits, yeah.
do you think I don't know that? I just was joking. Maybe that one didn't exist in this part of town.
Okay.
Welp.
Chuck's in a weird mood.
Yeah, Chuck is. Yeah. All right. Time for a guy's trip.
Yeah. I just
So you
realized
guys-
that, yeah.
Get outside the walls. You make your drive. You're going a bit north from where you are in Chicago. So you get up to the riverfront. There is a Green Bay Road that ends up taking you the whole way to what is seen on the outside. As you're driving up, you start seeing these really tall, almost like pseudo redwood style trees start to grow out of houses, out of like just old other people's yards. But everything is emanating from this one, probably 4.5 foot story tall, probably 45 foot in diameter tree that is just sprouting out with these large overhanging canopies with vines dropping down. And as you get close, the closer you get, Mintala, the more vibrant the paths become that you can see, the more vibrant the energy becomes, and it actually starts getting this green tint to it as it is fluttering around, and you start to feel this rising energy, this like pulsing waves.
Oh, this way, this way.
As soon as you take the path along, you get closer and closer, you start to see active ivy growing over houses, things starting to be overtaken by nature itself, and much more rapidly.
Wow. Let's keep going.
Well, I mean, I wasn't planning on stopping, so where are we going? You want me to ram Betsy into the tree or something?
No, why? Stop invoking, doing damage to this tree. We're just gonna go look at the treesicle tree.
You start to see animals that are different. You see like a large goat with like 4 sets of horns and like 2 tails. It's so spooky. You see this like larger chameleon that kind of spreads off over a tree, splits into 2 places, and then goes back together and goes off. You see this panther that jumps through 2 windows and like is leaping from the top of a tree and onto a building, going across, and then pops and he's over on another building as if some fey life has come to this place. As the drive continues to get closer, and you start to see that the roots now are starting to make it a lot more difficult to drive.
Yeah, I think we might have to stop here and walk the rest of the way.
As you get to difficult terrain.
Okay, we can walk.
As soon as you get out and start walking, assuming Azuka comes with you, you get like around a corner and you see a big view of this tree, and there's a broken sign that's kind of like hanging on its side that says the Chicago Botanical Garden.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does this fey life feel soothing to Chuck's other half?
I guess I would say an insight check would be necessary here. You're not one who tends to talk or speak or try to like invoke the consciousness there. I would say you have to like you're really looking inward for this.
What did we say was insight?
It would be a perception.
Perception.
Just perception. 17 total, 6 on the die.
Let's see. With that, I would say that it's you feel a sense of calm, but not a sense of comfort. Not a lack of danger, but more just like an acknowledgement of something, you know?
Almost like home.
Yeah. Or like returning to, like, if you were at a college for 7-8 years and then you left for a while and then came back, that feeling of being someplace you haven't been in a long time.
Gotcha.
So you guys have the entire opening of the botanical garden in front of you. You hear off in way in the distance some giggles, and then they're quiet. As you are now seeing just how extensive this root structure is. It goes through houses, it goes straight out. Like this tree is just, the base of the tree is just a tangle of roots coming together. It looks like this thing is still just growing.
I think Chuck will kind of just reach down and touch the root and kind of run his hand across it like, huh.
Yeah, that's what the panther looked like, by the way. So it's like a black cat.
This is interesting.
I wonder if was this a place in the old world, or was this a place in the Fae that came here in the Tear?
I can tell you what was here before, but it wasn't nearly as big as this.
Wonder how much it's grown since it arrived.
Who knows? Maybe it came as a seed. A little sproutling.
So if anybody would like to make me a nature check to see if they notice or know anything about this tree.
I'll do it. Wouldn't be great, but I'll do it.
It's a weirdly intense determining of your
Nature.
nature knowledge.
I got a 21 and my modifier's a 3.
So
18.
with Chuck's knowledge of just arbor in general before the tear, you would know that there's definitely not a tree like this that grows on Earth.
Yeah, this ain't no maple I've ever seen before.
So it almost has the structure of like if, this is actually a great way to think of it, like 20 aspen trees started growing up and then immediately started spiraling together into one giant aspen.
So it's an evergreen. So it's needles, not hanging. Like how would you describe this tree? Is it like a weeping willow? Is it like
It's
a
a weird-
maple? Is it like
the
an
best way I can
evergreen, like
describe
an
it, it's a
aspen?
weird fey tree.
Yeah,
you know,
but how are there leaves? Are there needles? Is it?
There's a little bit of both, a little bit of all, a little bit of none. It's the fey. Things get weird.
All right, so it's like 20 trees wrapped up in one.
It has that kind of like I think it's called, this thing is the elder tree that kind of goes out and like drops down a little bit.
Oh,
It's
the
like a lot of the
weeping willow.
hanging. Yeah, that kind. But those branches stick out and just go wide in the canopy.
Tell you what, that thing casts quite a shadow.
It does.
Yeah, no kidding.
So you guys are all in indirect light at this moment.
It feels different here.
My voice is so dry right now.
I wonder if somebody's ever climbed this thing. That's like taller than a skyscraper.
You'll see on some of the roots that are around these vines kind of spiral around some of them, and they have these yellow amber flowers. These little buds on some of them that almost look like oh god, I just forgot the
Daffodils,
nope,
sunflowers,
nope, honeysuckles.
honeysuckle. Okay. So weed, disgusting invasive species.
You're applying knowledge to something. I'm just saying.
No such thing as weeds in the Fae. Mentala's gonna go up to one of these flowers and like look at it real close.
As you get close, it smells really sweet. Lovely floral bouquet to it.
I think, out of curiosity, but as much just for the fun of it, I'm gonna cast my like really basic detect magic ability that I could just fire off randomly, and all it tells me is if there's magic. So I imagine it's just everything lights up.
So actually, it is in and of itself magical. So you get like, you see what would almost look like a nervous system in the roots and in the plants and in and of itself, all of this Fey nature energy just going in and coalescing into the trunk and going up and spiraling out. It looks like an entire tree made out of LEDs. And every root that connects to it has that same type of glow.
Just looking around, like up and down the tree and like all over around everything, like it's all connected.
Yeah. And if his men are coming for the supply, I imagine it's some sort of drug to them.
Yeah, that part's a little weird.
I don't know. Didn't people at some point think pixie dust was a drug?
I don't know, I'm a sprite, it's different stuff. We get mixed up a lot, it's okay.
Hey. I think any random person could confuse the two, probably. Hey, Azuka, maybe your friend knows more about this tree.
As you say that, there is a voice that kind of echoes into Mentala's head for the first time for you. Why are you here?
Mentala attempts to think back. It looks really cool. I just wanted to see it. Who is this?
What is your purpose here? Why did you seek me out?
Are you the tree?
Why are you here?
I just wanted to see it. It just seemed nice.
You felt
I just
called.
want to. Yeah.
Well, child of the Fae. That is not unheard of.
Am I in trouble?
Do you plan on trouble?
No?
Then no trouble will find you.
I think like I glance over. I guess Red is with us. I kind of forgot about it, but it's probably been marching along and being very out of place here. And I'm just like looking over at Red and like where he's standing. Like, did he break anything? Has he like broken any roots or anything? Oh no. Has he squashed any flowers?
Can you roll me a Red behavior check? Like, how do we do this? Like, is this like a society roll?
Agility?
Yeah, is this a
maybe it's
reflex?
Like how
Acrobatics.
agile he is walking around.
Well,
Like
I have-
acrobatics.
I have a thought in my mind of just turning and seeing Red like face first in the flower. Like, what is this?
Yeah, acrobatics.
He's like actually sticking his head inside.
Yeah.
I could roll an acrobatics because like he's still Red still counts as having it. I think his proficiency in it. I think I've actually not said it right. He should have the same proficiency in acrobatics as me, or maybe one less. I think I might have one more than he does. So I get a plus 13 to acrobatics. He still gets a plus 7 just because my acrobatics influence spreads to him in spite of his terrible abilities.
Yeah, so just hope you don't roll below like a 10.
15?
Okay. Red has his finger fully into a flower and pulls out what looks like this syrupy nectar. And you look over at him as you have this kind of, and he goes,
What?
and just eats it.
Just be careful. We don't want to squash anything.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll be extra careful.
Yeah. And then
And he
back
just
in my head,
starts
like,
tiptoeing around.
I don't mean to bring any trouble. I just wanted to know.
The forest is always open to its children.
Am I still its children?
Just because you are not born within its boundaries does not make you any less of a child of this world.
Okay, that's good. I won't cause any trouble. I'll just explore for a little bit, and then I can leave, and I won't take anything with me except memories.
Thank you. If you need any aid, just touch the roots and think.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
After a couple of minutes of silence, you think like, all right, maybe I'm not going to get another response here.
I had a little like chat with the tree. I think maybe it was the tree. I don't know. Maybe it was something else. It was like something like that. We can stay and we can look. Just don't break anything, and then we can go home.
Okay.
And if there's an emergency, I can grab a root and ask for help. You might be able to try it, but I don't know if it'll work. Sorry.
So
I didn't ask
as
for
you turn
specifics.
around and see Red, he just goes,
Yeah, okay.
and he takes a step forward to start walking as you realize he's just like floating up a little bit with each step now. He's like,
Oh,
Hey, men.
it's okay. You did this
like
before. You
starts
did
to
this
fall
before. It's fine.
backwards and start to like spin. He isn't going higher at all, but he's like a couple inches off the ground and just rotating around.
I'm gonna like run over and like jump up and like float on the boots and like try and like stop his rotation. I just go with him. I imagine.
Yeah, you're very much able to just kind of like slow him, and he's like, whoa.
But it's okay. It's okay. I think maybe it's like it's lifting up so you don't like squash stuff, so you can just wander around or swim through the air, something like that.
I wonder what happens if we push him.
There's only one way to find out.
Do you want to do it, Azuka?
Nah, I will let plausible deniability. I'll look away as you do it. Zuka just turns away.
Chuck's gonna get like a slight running start because he knows he's heavy and just kind of come in and just shove him a little bit.
As you do that, he just, as ever hard as you hit him, he just starts going, and it takes a while. He just starts going off. And Mintala, if you were holding on, make a athletics check to see if you can hold on to him.
Okay. Net 20
As he
on
hits,
my 0 athletics.
Oh my
So-
god.
when Chuck charged in and hit him, he kind of hit him on the side, so he's kind of corkscrew spinning him, and Mintala's like, "Whoa, whoa," like around the outside, but still holding on as you are corkscrewing through the sky.
All right, I need to roll something real quick. I don't have the crossbow, but I have the grappling hook rope arrow thing.
From the, I guess this would be from the goblins. They still have their
Yeah.
like the hooks.
Yeah.
If you want to make an attack roll, go for it.
I can't use my pistol ability.
No, you can't. I'll say if you can make an unarmed strike.
Yeah.
I guess we'd have to-
29.
There's a nat 20 as well.
That-
That
a
is
nat 20, yeah.
Was that 2 nat 20s in a row
Yep,
from roll
back to
20?
back.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're able to just throw it and it actually hooks into one of the old iron bars that came from your bed in the Los Angeles Tower. And it just hooks right in and you're able to catch him as you now have like a red kite.
Yeah, but now my question is, do I get pulled by him or can I stop him? He has more mass than I do.
So there is like a tug, like you have to stop him and like reverse the momentum, but you feel like it was only the momentum that you put into him was the momentum that you are now stopping.
Hey, Azuka, I think it's your birthday. I got you a red balloon.
I'm good. My favorite color is blue.
Oh, help me.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're flying. It's cool.
I don't like being this far from the ground.
It's okay. It's okay. If anything goes wrong, I can give you the flying power from before, and then you can move yourself.
Okay.
It's pretty neat having a red balloon that's not actually red, though.
Get me down, Chuck.
Oh, but that's less fun.
Just like reel him in a little bit.
Maybe I'll give you to Betsy. Maybe she'll enjoy a red balloon.
I can't let her see me like this, Chuck. Get me down.
This is too fun.
Azuka is like gonna stay within like range of this because I think this is too much of an amusing sight not to want to witness. But he is gonna like walk around and check out as much of the garden as they can as well.
Okay. First off, Mintala and Azuka make me a Arcana check.
Oh,
Oh, 12. I rolled a 2.
Man, something happened. Something happened, and Red just started flying. This is weird.
Hold on. Yeah!
Are you trained in Arcana?
No.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
No, but I'll simply say, yo, there's magic.
Oh God.
Yeah, I rolled a 3 and a die.
That's so
Oh,
great.
dear.
Well, yeah.
Wait.
This looks
Even
really
though
cool.
I'm not trained, I have the feat.
Oh, you
The
add
clever
half your level to it?
improviser.
Yeah, so you get to add half your level to that.
Okay. Something from here is making Red fly.
Yo, there's magic.
We're going with the like hero point refreshes every session, right?
Yep.
So I'll just use it. I'll use it.
Go for
it. I'll use a hero point for this.
Fair enough.
What's gonna roll it worse? But let's see.
I doubt you can roll
That
worse
one.
than there we
Dang
go.
it.
Okay.
24.
God.
Yeah.
When you're looking around and you're noticing we'll go with the first roll of trying to find the arcane magic influence of everything. And then you have to really think, well, this is Fae. This is probably something else. So you kind of have to shift your focus of what you're looking for, and you start noticing there is a beetle that flies into the same flower that Red ate the nectar of, and then you see it just funk and start just floating off into nothing.
Interesting. I will go over to that flower and kind of like look around, and I think just out into the vastness of this garden and go, can I take a flower? Get in.
I listen to my brain and see if anything happens.
Nothing responds to Azuka.
I think it might be a no. I think that one's a no.
A no? A no. Okay. Can I take some sap from a flower? I'm not getting.
I think
Did you
it's
hear
still a
anything,
no.
Natalia?
I'm sorry.
Still
I
no?
didn't
Okay.
get anything. I'm gonna take nothing as a no.
Sir, psychically speaking, nature being, can I speak with you? I think it's just ignoring us.
Yeah, I think you're just kind of ignoring us, which is fair. I get it.
Yeah,
Having tourists surrounding your place is kind of annoying. Gentrification and all of that. You don't need to worry. We're not going to bring that into here.
More of a junglification over here, but
Anyway, I want to get to the base of this tree. We're just hanging out by the roots now.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious about this because I think that's why Red is flying. Anything that kind of gets covered and ingested with that sap kind of floats.
Oh, I thought that maybe something made him fly so he wouldn't cause harm. But this works out well. He can't squash things.
So Chuck, how much rope are you using for Red right now? How high did you let Red float?
I mean, I've got like a couple feet still on the ground, but I let him float pretty high.
So how much feet of rope do you have? Because this is a technical question.
I imagine it's like at least 20 feet. That seems pretty standard for a grappling hook. So he's probably like 15 feet in the air.
Okay. You are in the air after a couple minutes has passed of you guys trying to talk to this thing, and you feel Red go boom. It goes down like really quick for like a split second, and it goes just and falls.
He's dropping really well. Oh no!
And you guys fall to 15 feet.
I'm going to
go ahead and make a yep. Jump right out of the way.
Yep. Nope.
Go ahead and make me a acrobatics check as you're landing to see how you do against the fall damage.
Okay. I'm at 20.
Oh my god.
What is this?
I guess I just turn on the shoes.
You turn on the shoes. Red.
Yeah, Red.
Just slams into the ground and takes 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Which I also take.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you share HP.
Hits the ground and I'm like, ow!
Oh god. Yeah, when that happens for the first, like one of the first times, you see the red symbol or the arcane symbol that's on the front of Red's chest, that symbol of your bond, spark up, and you see this electricity spark around Mentala, and and he has this little spasm when Red takes damage.
And then it's gonna be like, sorry, Forrest, we didn't. It was an accident. It was an accident. I'm sorry.
Oh, my red balloon popped.
From the crater, like a rock hand goes up, and he's just,
I'm good. Okay.
and his hand goes back down. As that happens, roll me a survival check to see what Red fell on.
Oh boy.
Okay. 23.
Okay. As he fell, he hit a root and smashed through it completely. And when that happens, it wasn't a flower, wasn't anything crazy, just like the tip of a root. When the wood root breaks off, this sap starts to seep out of it. And when it hits, it like dissipates and like melts off really quick. Around you guys, where there's roots, you see the wood start to kind of like shake a little bit. And not like the whole thing is moving, like the structure of the wood itself starts to like churn, and like a large snake head starts to come out of it. And on another side, like this sort of bark wolf starts to crawl its way out of the root structure itself.
Oh no.
And it's like, as it gets out, its eyes start flashing this emerald green, and it starts looking around.
We didn't mean to, we're sorry.
So it starts to go in and check out the space as you guys see these creatures start to come towards you.
I feel like
Red,
we
Red,
should
give him some
move.
space. Get out of the way.
Yeah, I would just like kind of try and step out of the way of their path. And if it seems like they're following, like following my movement, that's when I'll turn to Mintala and be like, hey, Mintala, is this something we should be worried about?
I don't know what this is.
Chuck already started to run and hide after standing up. Did not do well.
So you are going and you hide and duck behind a corner as you realize that there's a root right behind you, and this panther head starts to form out of the root and starts looking at you as you turn and you make eye contact with this emerald-eyed panther that is now coming from the root.
Oh, hey, hi.
And it just looks you up and down and starts to smell you. Do you have anything on you that you might have taken from this place?
He hasn't taken anything.
Cool. Sniffs you up and down, recedes back into the trunk.
Oh.
And the snake coils its way up to Azuka, kind of goes around you, curls onto itself, and starts like its tongue flickers out like a vine and goes through your body. Is there anything that you have taken?
Nope.
Turns its head and starts slithering away. Does the wolf does the same thing to Mintala, just kind of stares up at you as you're in the sky after it goes
I'm
and
still
sniffs
15
red.
feet up, like, oh no.
Yep. Just goes and sniffs red and does kind of a look around and then goes and kind of walks and then tree strides into the roots.
Okay, I think we're all right. I think we're forgiven.
Okay, cool.
Well, I mean, it seemed like it was looking for something, but I don't know what.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, we don't have it.
Everybody make me a perception check.
Okay.
Chuck is nat 1. He's
Dirty 20.
19.
Okay. A 20 is what you needed. You guys look on the far side of the street. Again, there's another entrance on the far side that has more of like a path built that seems more cut down. And Mintala, from your 15-foot vantage point, you would see that there are these root structures that look oddly humanoid, that look more like petrified trees with like branches starting to grow out of them. And yeah, there's a couple dozen of them.
I think we did good. I think we bothered but didn't anger the forest.
I don't know what you mean. All I see is dirt and flowers and roots. I mean, the roots came alive, but, you know.
Maybe we should head back.
Oh, we
Before
gotta
we get
get to
any
the
more
base of
trouble.
the tree.
Okay, just a quick look. Red, just stay put. Stay put here.
A hand comes up from the crater.
Okay.
And I will
Yes.
drop down to like head height, and then I'm gonna wander forward, keeping in the air and off the ground where I can step on things. Even though I'm tiny, I could step on tiny things.
As you make your way closer to the base of the trunk, the nature staff that you have actually starts to like vibrate a little bit as it feels like charged by this area.
Ooh.
If it had any expended uses, it would be full. As you see, the wood that the staff is carved out of is very similar to the wood of the tree.
Zika would just continue towards the base of the tree. I think paying mind to where he's stepping as well after that whole ordeal with Red smashing through a root. I think even Zika's like a bit hesitant to even step on one, so he's kind of be careful of that. the path he takes.
Chuck's probably purposely walking on the route because it's something that wouldn't break under his strides, whereas other things would.
Okay. As you get closer to the base, you guys are at the base of the tree now, looking straight up. It is a massive structure. You look behind and you see the roots breaking into the ground, knocking over nearby houses. Some houses even held up by the simple roots itself, making this cage around it. And the closer you get, the more animals that you see, the more bark type wood life that is going through here. You look up into the tree itself and you see like monkeys jumping around. You see birds, flocks of them going from place to place. And at the center of a tree, you see this large gnarled knot structure. It looks like it's bending and curving in on itself. And as you get closer to it, you start to see that there is a figure sitting within that knot that has these vines for hair with leaves growing out, a full wooden humanoid body that, as you approach, the eyes flare up with emerald green and look towards you.
Lucas waves awkwardly.
Do we have roll for hot?
I was thinking it.
It's a tree.
Oh!
It's a tree.
That was in that
It is
one.
made of bark. It is a tree.
Hey, but they have wood.
What if they're into it? They like some wood,
Hey.
Kai.
Ezekiel might have a green thumb. Who knows?
A nuke falls upon Chicago. And campaign ends here. I'm just gonna.
Kevin,
Every,
you're
G-
supposed to
every
have...
GM's like, I have this deep lore, and you just want to know if this dryad is hot.
You see this immensely magical creature in front of you, seeming to expand an entire city.
Hey,
I want to
hey.
it.
Are they
I never
magically
said that.
hot?
I said roll for hot. I didn't know if Chuck was going to try and flirt again, okay? Jeez. But you just answered that question for me.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me reiterate this. You have a femme-presenting dryad in front of you.
No, it's a nat 1 and hot. He's not interested.
Okay, sure. Sometimes you see past those things, to the root of who they are.
Okay, a nuke falls on Chicago, and
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it alone.
oh my god.
Okay, don't get sappy on me. All right, let's get through this.
All right, he's gonna ignore it, just kind of look at it and watch it, and then eventually like sit down and focus on like his own location with the thing, because he's like, I want to kind of try and center myself by this tree, but there's this creepy thing looking at me.
I will walk up alongside Azuka and just like awkwardly wave.
It mimics you and awkwardly waves back.
Wait, what if you do something else? Can you do like a breakdance move? Will it mimic that?
Shush. Were you the one who was talking to me? I guess that was the tree.
Maybe you have to touch the root. Maybe you have to touch it. Man, touch it. Touch it. I dare you. Touch it.
No.
Touch your roots.
We were just we just wanted to see the tree. We're just exploring. We won't cause any trouble.
She gives you this nod and looks directly at you, Mentala, and kind of like does like this welcome and hand points towards the tree as the tree itself like folds in and opens up into a small cavern.
Did you do that?
Is it like is that just the shape of it, or does it do that animatedly?
Yeah, the bark itself turns inward and opens up.
Okay.
For a second, looking almost like water-like as it shifts.
How big is that cavern? Is it like Mentala size?
It is big enough for the Dryad. I would say the Dryad sits at a 5 foot. What's a nat 1 level of hotness of height for you, Chuck? Let's make a public decision right now. What is nat 1
You
for you,
can't put me
bud?
on the spot like this. That ain't no roasting time. No.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So
5
Chuck
foot.
and Azuka would be able to kind of walk in too. Just have to hunch over.
It would be small.
I
I
turn
guess-
to Mentala and just go, I feel like if they've been talking to you, this might be for you.
So you
Yeah,
hear a voice in your head.
For the child of the forest who has never been home, you have never seen. Let me show you. As a welcome
think-
home gift.
I think it's meant to be for me.
One of us.
My brain, the moment you said that, Benson, my brain went to Junji Ito, like this.
Yeah,
horror's
I
for
know,
me.
but I'm like,
Yeah, and
there's no other way of putting it here.
I was
really
literally sitting there like,
It was
is this
made
tree
for
gonna
me.
eat
It was
him?
made for
Yeah.
me.
Are you jumping into this thing's mouth?
I think Mantella will like drop down, like turn off the shoes and turn them back on to like the level of this thing, and then
Okay.
I think he's gonna turn on his light,
Okay.
just start glowing, and then they'll be able to see the light in there. And if it like goes out and they hear, distant gravel collapsing, then they know something's gone very wrong.
So you enter into the tree, into the opening.
I'm gonna walk in.
Okay. As that happens, the tree shuts behind you, and you start to feel the wood start to get closer and closer all around you. As you guys see the wood seal up from the outside, and Mentala is now inside the tree.
I
Does
thought
it
you were
keep
following
getting
him,
smaller?
Azuka.
Getting pretty snug.
I,
Oh no!
I,
Oh no!
I don't know if this is like a thing that's meant to happen. It's just way out of my wheelhouse. I don't know what to do right now.
Maybe we should try and listen to see if he's screaming.
As
Yeah.
you get to like the last bit where your body's like getting curled up inside the tree, it stops. And that same sap / nectar that was outside coming from the plant starts to fill the little area that you're in. And it gets up to your chest, your jaw, over your head, and has now completely filled the chamber you're in, and you are submerged.
Hold my breath for a little bit and see if like anything happens in the next like 10 seconds.
How long can you hold your breath?
How do we know this?
I believe it's a Constitution save.
Yeah.
There's
The
a
fortitude.
Fortitude.
In D&D, it's your Constitution modifier is equal to the minutes that you can be underwater before you are out of breath. We can do something similar.
Okay, if I can.
So I'm looking at it now. You can hold your breath for a number of rounds equal to 5 plus your Constitution modifier. Use your remaining air by 1 round. Reduce your remaining air by 1 round at the end of each return, or by 2 if you're attacked or casting a spell.
Cool.
Okay,
So, yeah.
5 rounds plus my con modifier, that's 5 rounds.
Perfect. You got 30
Something that's
seconds.
turning into Bran.
Yeah. I think
Three-eyed raven.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait like 1 round, 6 seconds, and see if anything's gonna happen, or if I'm just being. I get.
I like the idea that you just pass out from holding your breath for no reason.
I mean, yeah, I feel there's a round where Mintella's just like, I don't know what to do. Is this thing killing me? It was gonna crush me, and then it stopped crushing me, but now it's drowning me. And then I think after like the 6 seconds where he's like, it could have killed me maybe by now, but it's now trying a different thing. What is going on? He's going to try drinking the sap.
Okay. As
Drinking or breathing it in?
Drinking
as
first.
that happens, your eyes roll back, your vision is gone, you're shot out into the embodiment of this tree, and you feel and experience the nature of the world around you. Through the vines, you can kind of take your will and your essence and put it to any point where the vines and the roots and the leaves and the ivy touches, and you're able to travel along the natural nervous system of this area. The path's energy that you see is weaving in and out of this root as it seems to be following those lines as it grows. And you notice the connectivity of the nature of this area and how everything is starting to blend together. You are able to then go into the bark wolf that was there and control it and run around and do all these things. As outside, you see everybody. Do you want to go over to them?
You probably hear Chuck and I nearly called my character Drac as well, Azuka. Just going like, do we do anything? Do we just wait here? I mean,
Chuck's probably got his head like against where the hole was, like, hello.
Out of the things that I can control, is there like the bark wolf and like the snake, and is there anything else?
If you will yourself to be there, is that what you're trying to do in this moment?
Yeah, I want to be in front of them.
You
A
see,
little
like,
bark form of Mentala starts to rise out of the root, and it opens its eyes and has that emerald glow. And there's just a bark clone of Mentala right there.
you catch me halfway through a punch as if I'm gonna like try and punch through the trunk. Being like, Kyoko said not to get into trouble. When we immediately kill Mentala, they're gonna be so upset.
Whoa, let me move my head before you punch.
Oh, Mentala?
It's giving thumbs up. This is creepy.
Is
Are
it
you a
actually
ghost?
Mentala, or is it like the shape of Mentala?
Is this... I don't know. Is it talking?
I try and
Mid,
talk.
do something only you would do if it's you.
You try to
know what that
talk,
would
but
be.
you don't really have any air that's passing through, so it's like this like it's so hard to actually get the sound to do what you want.
Okay, it's just like thumbs up then. after that attempt.
Okay. If it is you, can you come out?
If it is you, can you summon Red?
So their voices start to get farther and farther away as another voice calls to you.
Let me show you what you have been unable to see.
And you are pulled back into the tree. Your essence and your mind is pulled into one of the roots that is connected to the path energy that you are able to unconsciously see. And you are then able to, like electricity, like an electron along a cable, shoot your essence through there. You're able to see into the city, into the path, kind of go around and shoot around like lightning at the speed of your thought to see where you are going. And you are seeing the entire city. And then you get launched back to the tree, and you're back into the sap womb as it bursts from the front of the tree, and Mentala boom, 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 falls out onto the front, and the tree opens itself back up.
Okay, you're alive.
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm good.
Okay.
Yep, it's fine.
Okay.
Are you sticky?
Am I?
It's sap.
Yeah, it'll. One of us will need to learn prestidigitation.
Did you? Well,
I don't know if I want to know what you're going to ask.
I mean, is it a... What do you know?
I'm honestly very confused right now.
That was a lot. We can start heading home.
Oh, just like that? No,
I don't know if I don't know if you guys can try it or not. It might not work. It's like a faith thing. It's like a psychic connection thing.
Okay, yeah, no, I think I'm good. I don't want any connections, especially up there.
I don't know. I have that Ifrit half of me, I guess.
That could go really well or really badly.
That's fair. It is a tree.
Because soul connection to like that kind of being, but also being that is anathema to everything that this place represents.
Well, that's fair. I did want to kind of meditate on this necklace thing to see if I could really find my true location, kind of where I am right now.
I think that'd be all right to do.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I'm not sure what kind of the physical meaning you think you're gonna find from it. It just literally told me where I was, which was right there where I was standing.
Why, even if it just tells you where you are, it's kind of interesting when it's tear stuff, because like, where is this? Is it the place in Chicago, or is it the place it was before?
It's also curious in the fact that, I'm kind of two beings in one, and currently in a conflict with other things going on in the world. Either way, I feel like
in the
it'd
other
be
world.
soothing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, I think I'm gonna do that. Do you think it's okay if I sit on the root while I do it?
I think so.
All right, cool.
If it isn't, then I'll poke you.
Okay. So Chuck is attempting to use a magic item.
Yep.
Okay. As you attempt to connect to the magical essence of this amulet, there is like where you are holding it starts to heat up. Like your skin starts to get white hot in that moment, and then like iron that it's been in a furnace, and just dissipates as you activate the Hellside amulet, and you know exactly where Azuka is.
Azuka's like, I think, climbing one of the smaller trees that might be nearby.
Every movement they make, as long as it's within 60 feet, you are able to just perfectly track, eyes closed. You know limb orientation. You know everything about where Azuka is.
Azuka, I think you're distracting me. Get out of that tree.
I'm sorry, he's probably not very good at meditating if me climbing a tree.
His eyes have not opened or anything, and he pointed directly at you.
I think I don't think he notices. I think he's just been too busy climbing a tree. He just assumes that he might have opened your eyes at some point. So he's kind of like, I'm sorry, fine, whatever. And he'll walk further away and find another tree to climb.
Watch them walk over to another tree and start climbing that one.
Goddamn another tree. Get down.
What? Yeah, I am. That's the only thing I can climb here.
I don't know. It's all I see is where you are, and it's really annoying.
Stop looking at me?
I'm not looking at you.
Then how are you seeing where I am?
I don't know. This stupid item I think is tied to you and not tied to me.
Sorry? I don't know what you want me to do about this.
Take it back.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna like climb back down from the trees, clambered up, and take it back.
As soon as you hand it off, you have no clue where Azuka is when your eyes are closed.
That was weird. I don't know. I think you bonded with this thing and it just tracks you now or something.
When he hands it to you, it is very warm.
Okay. I think he's overused it, kind of overheating, and he'll peer over on himself.
And you see where he handed it off to you, the veins that were in his hand had that glow to it as he handed it. And as soon as he handed it off, the glow receded back.
It wasn't helpful at all. That was more annoying than anything, just watching you climb tree after tree.
I told you it probably wasn't going to help with anything emotional or metaphysical. It literally told me where I was in physical space.
Yeah, but it didn't tell me where I was. It told me where you were.
Maybe you just didn't use it right.
Oh, so it's my fault.
Who else could it be?
Just like everything else is my fault, except for when you go running off and do your doo-doo-doo-doo bull crap.
I said I was sorry, and I said it was my fault.
Doodle-doodle-doodle.
I don't know what you want me to do about this. I just have this item, and I used it, and apparently you can't.
Yeah. Well, next time it comes to saving your ass, maybe I won't be capable of that anymore either.
I have no idea why you're spinning this as if it's my fault that this item works this way.
It's your fault that I'm facing the demons I am right now. It's your fault I'm in Chicago. It's your fault I've found Gio and he's doing things that aren't what he's supposed to be doing.
As Chuck gets more angry, one of his eyes starts to have this flare to it. And you see in the back of his throat when he speaks a little light coming up.
I think Ezekiel's like walking away again, like towards the tree just to get back to climbing it as Chuck says this. And he pauses and turns around and just goes, I messed up trying to meet Chung, and I know that. I have nothing to do with what choices and friends you made before that. Giovanni's from your past. I had crepes with him. That's as far as any kind of involvement I've had with him goes. That's not my fault that you're facing this guy. Cade asked you to watch me while you did this mission. Not my fault. The whole reason why you need to watch me isn't even my fault. I wasn't old enough to have coherent thoughts when this thing was put in me. So no, I'm not about to take the blame for things that I'd had nothing to do with. I have enough on my shoulders as it is. I'm sorry a broken magical item got you all up and weird in your mood. And Azuka walks to a tree and gets back to climbing it.
I imagine Chuck does something stupid and punches the root of the tree.
With Chuck feeling that anger that he wants to get out and then finally letting it out and then getting refuted, having it been thrown back in and all of that put down, you see where you're standing, there's like little bits of smoke coming from the bottom of your shoes. And you punch one of the roots and it leaves a singe mark on it as other animals start to pull out from the roots again.
I think.
And this time,
Oh.
little Mintalas also start forming from the roots.
I think till now, Mentala, he was sort of like cleaning the sap off and stuff to what degree that he could, but he was also just kind of lost in thought, which is why he just didn't get involved in this. He kind of didn't care. He was just kind of thinking about his own things. But when that happens, I think it like snaps about and is like, Chunk, don't punch me. I mean, don't punch the tree. We talked about. Oh no. How did you punch that thing? I think we gotta go.
The green eyes shift to an amber orange as they're now staring intently at Chuck.
Chuck, run.
Why?
Because I think everything in this forest now wants to kill you.
As one of the wolves on the roots takes one paw forward and another paw forward as that green shift to the yellow is starting to get redder and redder. As you hear the
Chuck, why aren't you running?
the growl.
He'll finally like look up at Mental and probably see what's going on and actually go, oh shit, and then he'll take off.
So Azuka off to the side would see all of these animals now staring at Chuck as he's backing away slowly from the root of the tree. What do you guys do?
What do I see? Do I see them making chase now that Chuck is running?
Every step backwards Chuck makes, they make in lockstep. And you see others from like the other side. Probably like 6 animals at this point. Now coming up and half circling around Chuck, almost like herding.
Okay. I will like sigh and hop out of the tree and run over to put myself between.
As you start to go close to them, a Mintala with green eyes comes up and flutters in front of you and puts her hands up. As like a, don't get involved. And then like guides you this way. And there's like another back alley to the left that would take you around and back to the car.
He kind of messed up. I had to at least try to save his ass. And I'm going to try to walk around the wooden Mintala.
As you go to try to walk around him, he jumps and flutters in front of you again, puts up the hands and the eyes start to go yellow. As Chuck and Mintala are now like walking back towards the car as these creatures have started to converge and herd them back that way.
Okay. So it seems more like they're trying to get us out of here rather than attack us.
You could assume as much.
Okay. He sighs and then, yeah, okay, fine. And we'll go the other route that this wooden Mintala showed.
The eyes immediately go green, and he kind of does this like mischievous, like little like hoppy little step as it's like going with you through. As you guys get back to the car, they all sit at different points, jumping up on roofs, jumping up into windows, staring at you.
Okay, just get in the car and back us out slowly, and it'll be fine.
That's basically what Chuck does.
And I think as well, like, Mintala's like, again, staying in the air, staying away from where things can, can come at him or he can cause any problems. But like, while he's up in the air, he like looks over at like the crater that Red is in, and he just quickly desummons Red.
Red just,
I'll bring you back in a second.
Okay.
and he like quietly digs into the ground and dissipates and unsummons. You guys get back into the car. Start reverse slowly, backing away as you get off on the highway. Taking the road back to Chicago proper. You get back inside the gates. Make a pit stop at a cafe. See Kyoko inside with her friend. As you guys walk into the store, camera backs up.
You just hear, well, y'all made it out.
Until
You
is
didn't get
dripping
yourself into
with
any
sap.
trouble, did you?
As you say that, as the camera is backing up, like a huge glob of sap just falls to the floor, and we'll cut it there.
Oh my goodness. Everyone thought you were going to leave it on a cliffhanger with them being chased out of the forest.
So did
That was all on their decisions, but because Chuck didn't react offensively, totally fine.
All right. Well, we hope that you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, well, support us. There's lots of ways that you can support us. But before we do that, we want to thank our supporter today, which is a Thunder Cabbage. Thank you, Thunder Cabbage, for supporting us. We super duper appreciate it.
All the love.
Yeah, all the love. Get some real love in chat if there's any people out there with the emotes. And of course, if you would like to become a supporter like Thunder Cabbage, you can head on over to our Patreon and become a legend tier above. And not only do you get to support an episode, but you also get to be GM'd by our lovely Kai right now. and you will be able to affect the game and the world that we're playing in, which is really fun. That is a private GM session, by the way, which is pretty fun. And of course, there's all kinds of other goodies up on our Patreon. We're going to go record an after show after this show. That's why it's called an after show. And I'm sure we're going to have some thoughts on that. And those are up on our page. There's lots of goodies over there. In fact, we talk a little bit about what that amulet really is in one of our after shows. So we as players know, but our characters have no clue. We are oblivious. We also have a new...
I would have rolled an int check, but I was in a little reverie at the time.
We also have a new GM poll that's up. Kai wants to know, what enemy or enemies will we encounter next? So definitely get yourself voting over there, and we shall see what comes of that. I'm scared. Be nice. Be kind.
And that will be awful.
He's like, all the options are awful. All of them are not good for you.
Great.
Lovely. And of course, character sheets will be coming up this week. Bentham has to do it now. We've locked in the date. He's doing it. And of course, if you want to subscribe to us here on Twitch, you get access to our VODs in advance, as well as some of our emotes. And you can even use, if you use Amazon Prime and you haven't used your Amazon Prime to support a channel, and you really enjoyed today's episode or any of our shows, you can give us your Amazon Prime. That'd be nice. And you can head on over to our YouTube and become a YouTube member and get access to some of those emotes as well. And whether you're a YouTube member, Twitch subscriber, or a Patreon supporter, you can get access to a private Discord where people write fanfic of Betsy and Red. So enjoy that. Also, they put some funny stuff in there for cooking, so I'm going to read that after this.
There was another one I saw of Cade checking in on Azuka at awkward moments.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
It's pretty funny.
Azuka probably has snuck in a boyfriend or girlfriend at some point, and then Cade walks in. And yeah, so like I think he does purposely does the embarrassing dad kind of shtick.
I'll leave you two here. You have just be safe, okay? Do you need any? Okay, I'm going.
Are you using protection? No.
Yeah.
And of course, there's
I like
lots
the
of
idea that he sneaks them past his mom's fine, but then because Kate just likes to walk in sometimes.
Yeah.
He does have a habit of
no.
coming in without calling first.
Yeah.
he can just appear too. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's his thing.
I think I would say this for the after show. Was it?
Yeah, for the after show.
And
What
of course, there's
awkward
lots
situations can Azuka get into? Find out later.
There's also lots of non-monetary ways to support us, as we know that not everyone can support us monetary. So watching us live here on Twitch, making clips, which we've seen some, and I think Papa Tim has been adding some of those things to our wiki too, so definitely share those with him. And you can also watch us over on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment. We'll have this up on our YouTube channel as well. And follow us on Twitter, Facebook, like, share, retweet, all the things. All of it helps us, even just a little bit. I know that sometimes people think that they don't have enough followers, but it doesn't really matter. It's about the algorithm of interactions that are happening per tweet and whatnot. And of course, we would like to thank our sponsor today, which is Roll20. Yeah. Where is you? There you go. Roll20.
That's Roll20. We'll roll for it.
Yeah. I know, but I was looking for the asset. I was clicking the wrong one. Roll20, you can check that out. Roll20 is pretty awesome if you're curious about how we did our dice rolls, how we do our maps, things like that. And from our other games, we use Roll20. And you don't have to just do dice games. You can do all kinds of type of things, card games, board games. You can do anything. Maybe we'll play Monopoly someday. Who knows? And of course, you can head on over to designbyhumans.com/shop/roll4it to get yourself some merch. And that's good stuff. And with that, I'm going to let these lovely people say where you can find them at. Because not only are they amazing RPers here on Roll For It, but they do a lot of other cool things in other spaces. And we're going to kick things off we'll start with Bentham Plays, who plays Mentala. What are you up to when you are not checking out your sprightly world that you haven't ever seen before? Did you like it? Did it feel as good?
I think so. I think being a tree and being connected to the entire forest probably is a pretty awesome experience. Yeah. But yeah, you can find me on the very badly named YouTube channel Mangleport Gaming or Twitch channel Mangleport, and there I do Let's Plays and stuff like that. At some point, there might be a new timeline lore video for Horizon Forbidden West, because why not? Burning Shores came out. There's more stuff. And then also doing a Barotrauma campaign multiplayer with a bunch of cool friends on Sundays on Twitch as well, and maybe other streams sprinkled throughout. There were multiple streams I tried to do this past week while Rick was here, and various different technical issues prevented any of them from happening. But this week there will be the standard Barotrauma, and I'll try and find time to do something else as well. That's me.
All right. Next up, we've got Chuck Spadina, played by Apocalypto12. Where can people find you at when you are not punching trees and getting yourself chased out of a forest?
Well, normally not doing that. I like trees. Trees are great. But you can find me over on my podcast called Go My Favorite Sports Team, where instead of punching trees, I'm talking about other people punching each other, because the Creator Clash post-fight episode just dropped today, so you can check that out. That was a great segue. Good job, me.
Yeah. Here, I'll help you out too. I got like a...
Yeah! Nice.
I got you.
But you can check that out. Video exclusive on Spotify, but you can listen anywhere where you pod your casts. Thanks again, Connie. But yeah, you can find me on socials, Apocalypto_12, or just search Tyler Scheid anywhere, and you'll probably find me.
People don't even use pods, like iPods anymore. Sad day.
Yeah.
So there's some people out there who don't even know what an iPod is.
Didn't they kind of sort of just remake the iPod? Isn't there like a
There's like a retro version or something.
Yeah, like they released like
Don't talk about it like it was retro. That was high school.
Yeah.
It's not that long ago.
It's
It's not like we're talking about some Walkman or something like that, you know?
Hey, you take that back right now.
What? Sounds like
I love
a bunch
my
of
Walkman.
ancients. Damn.
Look, all right.
All right. Well,
Getting older. I'm old, but I'm not that
Azuka
old
played
yet.
by our one and only Drac. Where can people find you at when you're not trying to climb trees and make crepes? 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 I don't know.
Crepes.
I just love the idea of an old man not knowing exactly what something was.
That was perfect. You can find me on Twitter at Draconics. That's DRAKONIQUES. I'm in a bunch of actual plays or behind the scenes of a bunch of them. So you can just follow me on Twitter to find out what ones I'm involved in at any given moment. The thing I will shout out is that on Friday though at 8 p.m. Eastern, over on Demi Playing RPG, I'm going to be in a Vampire the Masquerade / Hunter the Reckoning crossover campaign, premiering tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun, called Enemy of My Enemy, and it's a bunch of vampires and hunters reluctantly working together to defeat a mutual threat. It's going to be very queer, very messy, very dramatic, and I am very stressed because I'm also like the production manager of it, so I'm like trying to get everything under control and set and ready, so yeah.
I know those feels.
I haven't been sleeping.
That's my job. And of course, last but not least, we've got Kai Bear. Where can people find you at when you are not playing creepy dryads who clearly are one on the scale?
Yeah, ugly dryads, you know, it's just the whole thing. It's really my favorite thing to put into a campaign. You can find me in all the big T's of social media, Twitch, TikTok, and Twitter, all that fun stuff at Kai Bear there. If you are into TTRPGs, and why would you be here if you're not? If you're going to Gen Con in August, I'll be there DMing for Kobold Press and their new system alongside Maggie. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much. I'll be streaming later today, doing some fun stuff like that. So yeah, come say hi and tell me what you think about the campaign, or how I'm failing, or how I'm doing great. I love hearing theories. I love hearing theories, by the way. I see people in the Discord be like, I think this is going to happen. I think this is going to happen. I'm like, that's great. That was a little close, but you know.
He doesn't say that.
No.
He doesn't give you hints. He just trolls.
Never.
And of course, yeah, I'm excited for Gen Con. It's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely come hang out with us. We'll be jamming stuff. I feel like we're going to be there, Kai, but I'm not going to see you like all day. I'm only going to see you in the evening, probably. Yeah.
Well, Maggie, speaking of which, tell us about your stuff.
Yeah, I'm
Where
Margaret
are you when you're
Crone.
not having a girls' night out and giving a ring to Azuka?
Oh, nice. I like that one. I'm Margaret Crone. You can find me at Margaret Crone in all of the places. There's going to be some stuff coming up that I'm going to be announcing. So if you follow me and you're interested in it, then you'll know about it. And of course, I make games and video games for a living. I'm currently working on a project called Ashes of Creation. And yeah, you can find it at Ashes of Creation in all the places. We're going to go record an after show, and then we will see you all next week for another epic episode of Valtorn. Toodaloo.